It's 9 o'clock. Will y'all please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. First on the agenda is approve the minutes of Monday, August 26th, 2024 as presented.
I'll move so.
Moved by Meats, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next is to approve the minutes of continuation meeting on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024 as written.
Also move.
Second. Moved by Thompson, seconded by Knight. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Miscellaneous motion. Moved to authorize direct chairman to sign municipal advisory agreement by and between the Coffee County, Kansas and Raymond James and Associates Inc. I'll second. Moved by McCurry, seconded by Knight. Any discussion? I think it's just the normal. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Yeah, this is the bond stuff.
And I've got a big lock that says you do not have permission to see.
That's on everybody.
It's on everybody's.
Oh, it must be, okay.
I think
I think it's on there sometimes.
it is. I
I'll
just
find
scrolled
it
through
later.
it.
Just find it.
Next is moved to authorize director chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for Lauren Hull, Sheriff's Office, Public, Finance, spec promotion, step change and grade change, wage classification from 30-7 to 40-5, wage from 21.28 to 23.42, effective 8/16/2024.
Also move, don't mean to correct her, she pronounces her name
Lauren.
just like a man's got.
I'll second that. Moved by Meats, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next is moved to authorize direct chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for Travis Palmer, Sheriff's Office Deputy Promotion Step Change, wage classification from 40-10 to 40-11, wage from 25.22 to 25.57, effective 8/11/24.
I'll move.
Second. Moved by Thompson, seconded by Knight. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Well, we got a lot of these. Moved to authorize director chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for John Hudson, Sheriff's Office, PT Deputy, promotion, step change, wage classification from 40-1 to 40-2, from 21.76 to 22.16, effective 8/16/24.
Also move.
I'll second that. Moved by Meats, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, that ends our River City construction weekly update.
Morning.
Morning. Big changes out there.
A lot of big changes.
Makes change.
A little nicer weather to work in too.
I like that change.
I agree. I take this weather. As you all can see, like I said, big changes. Got some sheeting on this west or east side last week. Got some air barrier on it. The EFIS up on the high or low roof is going to be the finished product on some of the accent areas. Working on, they're closing in the south side. I think they finished it up late last week. Working on Sally Port currently. Have that finished up. I believe they'll finish it up Monday. Have all the block done on the exterior. Be working. The masons are going to move into the inside of the jail area, working on some of the faces to the pods and the control center. Then they'll move into the little bit of block that's in the sheriff's office, and then they will they'll finish up some miscellaneous block, and then here mid-October be looking at some brick veneer going on as some spaces open up on the exterior. The exterior framing started, well, they did the east last week, finished it up last week, putting on their clips this week on the west side. The concrete guy's supposed to be here this week for a pour into next week, have the second floor poured out. That'll allow the steel erectors to get up there, slap all the roof decking on, and then the framers will be following them out on that west side. It'll start to be a closed off box. Won't be able to watch progress as much, but it's going very well so far.
Good.
This weather's...
It just looks like it. It's a big change every week.
It's a big change, a lot of new people coming in, a lot of room getting taken up pretty quickly. Just had a truck driver come in, the roof curbs for the air conditioner units and everything for this east side are showing up. They're gonna have to start setting in this week, and the roofers are actually supposed to be here mid-September for this east side. So actually starting them a little bit earlier than planned, but it's a good thing. Get ready for the sales to come in November.
We've been pretty blessed with the summer that we've had.
Yes, unfortunately, it's been a little dry, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt construction.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Your second floor, how thick concrete is that?
It is 5 inches.
Is that a special weight concrete?
It is not.
It's just regular,
Yep.
regular concrete.
Very well. Any other questions? Any questions?
Amen.
Perfect.
Thank you
for the
for
update,
that.
appreciate it.
Road and Bridge Supervisor, Adam, department update.
Good morning.
Morning.
I just have a few things. No call-outs this weekend that I know of. I was off this weekend, so if something did happen, I'm not aware of it. Just got change order and a couple other motions, and I'll be out of here.
We want to do first, you want to do motion first?
We can do the change order on this asphalt down by the shop if you want, or however you have it.
So it was, move to approve change order number 2 for A2403-C hot mix asphalt project to subtract $8,750, which is 125 square yard of paving fiber not used, and add $14,058.24 for 104.6 tons of additional asphalt required to correct subgrade failure, for the total net increase of $5,308.24 to the contract. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. You had subgrade failure and you put more asphalt down.
Yes.
Is that,
Yeah, and the fabric thing was on the original contract, and we did away with that and ended up just digging that section of road up. And did run into a little bit of subgrade issue, but we took care of that, and I think we got a really good product.
This is up there on 50.
No, this is down here by the shop, by the county shop,
Right, yeah.
South
Okay.
6th Street.
yeah, that finished that up down there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Moved by McCreary, seconded by Meats. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. There's that change order. Next thing I have is a motion for disposal. On an excavator.
Where do I sign this at?
I don't think you have.
Oh,
That was just,
that's just the,
yeah.
To look at.
Yep.
motion to remove the is this gonna be, this is just selling outright, or is this
We'll
a trade-in?
be trading.
Oh, okay, okay. Move to find that 2010 Caterpillar 324 DL excavator E007, serial number ending in 0237 is no longer required and cannot prudently be used for public purpose of Coffee County, and as such should be disposed of as a trade-in to Murphy Tractor and Equipment for $45,000. Notice of the board's intentions to dispose of said property will be published on September 5th, 2024, and the September 12th, 2024, in the official county newspaper.
How many hours does that have on that?
12,000 some, I believe. Not quite sure. I get all our equipment mixed up. It was either 12 or 14,000 weight, I can't remember.
Okay, okay.
Either way, it's what you said.
Well, it's quite a few hours. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if, I don't know in this case particularly, if that could be sold and capture a little more than this trade-in value.
I mean, that's a risk.
I know, it could go either way.
Yeah, I know we had an individual interested in it, and his number came in a little lower than that as far as an individual. But that was the best trade-in that we received.
Okay, okay, thank you.
It looks like you had 5 different bids on that, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, that should present a pretty good figure there. Also move, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
Moved by Meats, seconded by Thompson. Any discussion other than we've already had? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. Next one will be the purchase of an excavator.
Move upon, motion upon the recommendation of the Road and Bridge Supervisor to accept bid from Murphy Tractor and Equipment for 2024 John Deere 250P with warranty number 2 included 5 years, 5,000 hours to the purchase price total of $323,276 as being best bid, and to purchase the same for the sum of $278,276 to be paid from the Equipment Reserve Fund. Said purchase of the sum of $278,276 reflects a trade-in value of $45,000 for one 2010 Caterpillar 324D excavator, serial number ending in 0237. I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Knight, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion?
Is it available? Excuse me, Don.
Yeah. The state tractor appear, in this spreadsheet, appears to be a little bit lower. Am I misreading that?
They are lower. That's a machine that's, I think, my personal opinion, fairly new to the United States. I think they're big across seas as far as the Lugong. We did go up and run it. Very good machine. Just, parts availability and serviceability is a big thing for us. They did say their parts warehouse is in Houston, Texas. So, we break down how long we're going to be down. As far as availabilities, everybody was pretty close to the same. I know Cat was a little quicker. But, operator preference, which doesn't make or break it, but he really liked the John Deere.
Yeah.
For
That's
the
what I was told
multi-function.
by your guys, yeah.
Yeah.
And something that's better known.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not much difference in cost there, so.
No, and like I said, if if it had been around and we knew more about it and it was a little more, widespread throughout the United States, maybe,
Understandable.
You had something to reference what that part
Yeah.
ability would be. If somebody else had one and say, hey, we're getting
Yeah.
along great, but you don't have that yet. Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. My last thing is, invitation to bid for a trailer.
Motion to approve road bridge superintendent's request to solicit formal bids for one gooseneck trailer. Funds to be paid from the general fund, public works equipment line item. What kind of a trailer are you looking for?
It is gonna be a gooseneck, basically a skid loader trailer
Okay.
for the bridge crew,
Like a low
low profile,
Low profile.
tilt deck.
fender?
Fender, it's gonna be basically a 18, I think it's an 18 foot or 16 foot, I don't remember. I'm writing the specs right now, but it's gonna be a dampened tilt, hydraulic dampened tilt with a 6 or an 8 foot stationary deck on the front. Basically it'll go with that 1 ton pickup that I had in here a couple weeks ago for the bridge crew to move their skid loader or the mini excavator around.
I would, check in, it's called Sandcrest Trailers in Billings, Missouri. I would notify them, see what kind of a price they give you, as well as the local one up there, Digger RVs on them.
Yeah,
They're both them. So I know Sandcrest gets some pretty big rebates, discounts. So,
yep, I
see
got
what it's worth.
Diligent on my list up there,
Yeah, diligent.
and few in Topeka, and I'll check out that. I'll shoot you a text here after a while, so you can send me that name again, because I'll forget it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sandcrest.
Sandcrest.
Yeah, so,
I'll write that.
and it,
I'd have to watch the video tonight.
let's see, on the motion read, let's see, did I read the motion? Have I? Yeah. Did I? Yes.
Yeah.
I'll move.
I'll second that.
Any discussion, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
All right, thank you. You guys have anything else for me?
Yeah, that project up there on, between Reaper and Shetland on 24th, that looks good. Yeah.
Oh, Gary Freeze,
Yeah, Gary.
23rd. Reaper
Yeah, I'm
Shell.
sorry, 23rd.
Yeah, they finished that up last week,
Yeah, looks good.
so should
That should please you.
make a big difference up
It
there.
will make a big difference. You guys did
Yeah.
a nice job.
Well, thank you. I'll pass that on.
All right.
Other thing I've got is a safety concern. I witnessed one of the county employees in a county truck headed north out of Newstrom today with his handheld phone up to his ear. Talking on
Okay.
his telephone. I don't know who it was. I don't even remember the color of the vehicle, but I think it was white. I think it was a white
Okay.
flatbed, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'll do some checking.
I think we have a policy of hands-free or pull over the side if we've got a phone conversation.
Okay. I'll
Just
see
safety.
you that way. All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you,
Adam.
Adam.
Oh, running a little ahead of schedule, which is not a bad thing. Art Friend, you ready? Come on, Art.
Morning. Morning.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to visit with you guys today. For those of you who don't know me, I farm in the northern part of Coffee County. I'd like to start off by saying how excited we are in the Levo area with the ongoing Highway 50 project. A little inconvenience now will no doubt be worth it in the end. I would like to extend a thank you to Ryan Durst and Mr. Knight. I have visited with them on a few occasions about some concerns in the early stages of the project, and they did a great job of addressing those issues. I would also like to thank the zoning board members for all the time and energy they put into drafting the proposed solar regulations. I cannot begin to imagine the number of phone calls, emails, letters, and personal visits these board members had from the public, both for and against solar farms in the county. The zoning board has held numerous public comment sessions for citizens to address their concerns. After months of work and public input, They put together a set of regulations they felt was fair to both sides. They also unanimously agreed that a 3-year moratorium on solar regulations and solar facilities in the county would be in the best interest of the citizens of the county. I strongly urge you to pass a 3-year moratorium as proposed by the zoning board. Several counties in Kansas have passed lengthy moratoriums to limit industrial solar facilities and the problems they bring. Pottawatomie County recently issued a 3-year moratorium on the basis of uncertainty of undesirable outcomes. McPherson County recently passed an indefinite moratorium on industrial solar. So yes, a 3-year moratorium can be done and has already been done in Kansas. I believe a large majority of farmers and ranchers in this county agree with my opinion of fully supporting the zoning board. Jay George gave a very profound speech last week about how detrimental solar farms of this scale can be to the agricultural community. Let's be realistic. Once those acres are removed from agriculture, they are most likely never coming back. Just like the land used for subdivisions or shopping centers, except new houses and commercial properties bring in property tax revenue. Also, if you buy or build a house in a subdivision, you expect other houses and development nearby. This is not the case with solar farm eyesores potentially popping up in the middle of farm country. Like a lot of farmers, I rent a large portion of the acres used in my farming operation. Removing agricultural land for industrial solar production will increase already stiff competition for remaining available land. Here in Coffee County, we already have large tracts of land tied up for John Redmond, the Flint Hills National Wildlife Refuge, and Wolf Creek. Just to the north, Melbourne Lake also involves a large amount of land. Removing additional agricultural land will be detrimental not only to the current farmers, but those younger ones not yet established as well. This will have a domino effect all the way from the farmers to the businesses in town. Allowing large-scale industrial solar without restrictions could likely have a net loss of jobs in the county, as well as detrimental to our schools and public services. Several of those in favor of large industrial solar farms mention private property rights. I, as a landowner, also support property rights, but not at the expense of my neighbor's property rights. It seems as if some of those individuals who claim to be so in favor of property rights are simply wanting to sell those very property rights to the highest bidder. Today, that just happens to be industrial solar. As Jay George commented last week, we really don't know who we are dealing with in regards to these solar companies. The only thing we know for sure is they are doing this to make money, lots of money. Any concerns about how this will affect Coffee County presently or in the future is of no worry to them. This should concern all of us. I have concerns about how the current political and economic situations may affect current or future industrial solar plants. A quick Google search revealed 74 solar companies have gone bankrupt so far in 2023 and 24. That's right, 74 solar companies. With the election coming up in November and the economy slowing after rapid inflation, we don't know how this will affect funding, federal subsidies, or political support for such projects. The last thing we need is a partially completed project like the former biodiesel plant in Emporia. When that project was proposed, biofuels were the next big thing in green energy, with loads of federal subsidies. Construction was started amid great enthusiasm. Then the economy tanked in 2008. That project was suddenly shut down with no advance warning and was left deteriorating for years. The land was tied up and the company was completely silent about future plans. Finally, in 2021, what was left of the structure was demolished and disposed of. This is another reason we should support the full 3-year moratorium proposed by the zoning board. We should stand back and see how other projects shake out and perform prior to recklessly jumping all in. I also have concerns about how this will affect the future of Wolf Creek. This proposed solar project is massive in both size and expected power generated. Wolf Creek can supply 1,200 megawatts, and according to HETEC's website, the Otter Creek solar project would supply 1,000 megawatts. According to Energy.gov, it will take 1.887 million photovoltaic panels to make 1,000 megawatts. Let that sink in for a second. 1.887 million panels. I fail to see how power generation competition from this proposed solar project or others can be anything but potentially harmful to the long-term future of Wolf Creek. It has been stated that Wolf Creek occasionally reduces power output to 70% due to wind energy at times. While the new Blackberry power line will help with this issue, do we really want to add more power to the grid locally, causing Wolf Creek to potentially have to reduce power further? How much can they reduce power before staffing needs are reduced? Will running at reduced power delay or cut back the number of refueling outages? What kind of local economic reaction will occur if Wolf Creek is forced to reduce power? How will running at reduced power affects tax revenue? They still have the same fixed operating costs, whether they are running full power or reduced. Wolf Creek has the potential in the future to add a second reactor to greatly increase power output. I can't help but think this would be a huge economic boost to Coffee County. It also appears that adding massive solar projects in Coffee County would all but guarantee the second reactor would likely never happen. It was suggested by Evergy personnel that studies could be done to determine possible impacts. I believe it is imperative to pass a 3-year moratorium to give time for detailed studies to be done to investigate the possible impacts of solar energy to Wolf Creek and the economic impacts to Coffee County. I urge the county to perform these studies in great detail and report the findings to the public. The future of our county depends upon a strong and lasting partnership with Wolf Creek. An additional concern I have is the environmental and aesthetic damage caused by destroying agricultural land and turning it into industrial solar eyesores. There are approximately 34 homes in or around about a half a mile of the proposed Otter Creek Solar Farm. Of these houses, 25 are non-participating in the solar leases at this time. That is 74% of the homes in that area. Families that live in those homes enjoy the perks of living in the country. Homeowners will see their property values decrease if large-scale industrial solar is allowed. Coffee County is zoned to prevent this exact situation from happening. On the official Coffee County website, under Planning and Zoning section, it states, Coffee County is a zoned county and has zoning and subdivision regulations. Zoning is to promote the public health, safety, morals, comfort, and general welfare. I have a copy here of all 182 pages of the Coffee County zoning regulations. Under Article 1, Section 101, lists the purpose of zoning regulations. Under Heading A, it reads, to promote the public health, safety, morals, comfort, and general welfare. Section E says to protect property values, conserve energy, and natural resources. Nowhere in any of these 182 pages could I find anything about protecting private property rights. There have been 2 potential rock quarries in the northwestern part of Coffee County shut down in the past several years due to concerns from neighbors. Here again, we have concerns from neighbors of the proposed solar project, lots of neighbors. Only a portion of the landowners involved in this proposed solar lease live in or near the leased acres. Many live several miles away, so it does not affect the direct area around their own home. How many landowners live out of county or out of state and will never have to deal with any detrimental ramifications of industrial solar facilities? This is where the zoning comes in to prevent those individuals from enriching themselves at the expense of their neighbors' health, safety, comfort, general welfare, or property values. The county zoning regulations also discuss conserving natural resources. Jay George last week discussed the tallgrass prairies and other agricultural lands. These are most definitely natural resources that need to be conserved. The only way to preserve the tallgrass prairie is through regular burning. The addition of industrial solar panels in Coffee County will greatly complicate burning operations. Another side is the fire liability coverage on farmers or ranchers' insurance policies. If an intentionally set fire got away from them, how many acres of solar panels could burn before maxing out the liability coverage on their insurance policy? Even worse, it was brought to my attention yesterday that some farm liability insurance policies may specifically exclude coverage from solar panels damaged by fire. Even the best plans can go wrong when dealing with fire. The wind can suddenly switch directions, a mechanical malfunction with a water sprayer, a vehicle getting stuck while trying to control a fire, or even an ember from burning trees still smoldering several days later can all enable a controlled burn to get away. I once had a large dust devil go through a fire and carry swirling fire up into it, igniting anything that will burn in its path. Range burning is a common annual occurrence in Coffee County. We should support the 3-year moratorium for the environmental aspect of investigating the fire risk potential and ways to mitigate these risks. One final concern I have is how will Kansas weather affect these panels and where will they be disposed of after their useful life is over? Most everybody in Coffee County has dealt with hail damage on their vehicles or homes at least once. Severe storms with large hail and high winds are a fact of life in Kansas. What is the contingency plan if these panels are damaged or destroyed by hail? What is the wind load rating of these panels and the frameworks they are attached to? The 1,320-foot buffer strip away from non-participating landowners absolutely must remain in place to help prevent debris from these panels leaving the solar facility in the event of severe storms. What is the disposal plan for these panels in the future? Remember that $1.887 million number I previously mentioned? We are talking about a massive amount of waste at some point in the future. Even if these panels continue working well into the future, new technological advances will likely make these obsolete at some point. It is undisputed these panels will contain toxic chemicals that can make disposing challenging. Will we be forced to dispose of them in Coffee County, where heavy metals could potentially leach into our groundwater? The 3-year moratorium should be approved to allow ample time to appropriately investigate these issues. In closing, I strongly urge you to pass the zoning board recommendations exactly as presented. The 3-year moratorium is crucial to make sure enough time is given to fully investigate any and all potential economic or environmental concerns. As mentioned previously, Pottawatomie County did in fact pass a 3-year moratorium on the basis of, and I quote, uncertainty of undesirable outcomes, end quote. Coffee County is a pretty great place to live. Let's make sure we keep it that way, not only for ourselves, but for future generations as well. I do have a couple of questions I'd like to ask. Can the solar facility issue in Coffee County be put to a public vote?
That has been something that's been brought up several times, and we have asked our attorney to investigate that. And I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I mean, are you wanting to vote on the regulations, or are you wanting to vote on a application special use permit?
A complete ban would be ideal for industrial solar projects, or at least over a certain size or
Right.
some type thereof.
Yeah, I can't answer that question. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Angie runs the election stuff, and I don't.
Would that be a question for Angie?
Well, I just run the election.
Okay.
So, which I handle all midterm elections,
Mhm.
local elections, and that sort of thing. What I understand from Wade is that because of state statutes and having a planning and zoning board to make those sort of recommendations to this board, it wouldn't be, if we were to do an election, and Heidi, help me if I misspeak here, I don't want to misspeak because this is a very touchy thing. I believe that if we were to hold an election, it would have to be, it could not be combined with any other. And it really wouldn't be an actual election, it would be more of kind of like an advisory election. So it would be the public, if they stated, no, we don't want it, or yes, we do want it, you would get the results. But then it would ultimately come back to the board. So if the board did not agree with that or chose to do something different, they still could.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how.
So what process does it take to get something like that started?
Petition?
I don't know.
I'd say we'd have to do some discovery.
Yeah, there would have to,
And I don't want to speak back to what you're responsible. But
I
to me,
can't
we'd
give
have
that
to do
kind
some
of advice.
discovery to see what
Mhm.
it would take to make it happen.
Okay.
If it could happen.
You would probably want to reach out to some sort of attorney to help you
Mhm.
with that, because I am not in that sort of position to give that kind of
Okay.
advice. I don't want to guide you wrong.
Okay. Okay.
And you're not the first one to ask that question. Fine, I mean, it's been brought up,
Yeah, okay. I just wasn't sure on that. I thought I would ask
and
anyway.
neither are we.
Okay. Okay.
We're not sure either, is what I
Yeah,
mean.
I understand. There's been a lot of talk lately of possible conflicts of interest regarding industrial solar facilities in the county. I believe it is important that citizens of Coffee County have a complete confidence in both the commissioners individually and as a whole. I have a few questions I'd like to ask related to this. Do any commissioners or their immediate family members have any solar development leases in place?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Will this commissioner be voting on or involved in any discussions about any motions or resolutions related to solar development?
I'm not gonna be voting.
Okay.
I stated that numerous
Mhm.
times.
Okay.
I'm not discussing it either, am I?
Okay. No, I was just asking. I don't mean to put you on the spot, Mr. Thompson.
That's okay, I
I
understand.
mean, you're a good friend of mine.
I feel the same way.
So I've done business with you. Hope to
All the
continue.
people involved too,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
It's tearing our county apart.
It is, and that's a sad.
That's why it needs resolved. That's the last opinion I'm giving on it.
I understand. Do any other commissioners or their immediate family members own stock or percentages of any company, LLC, corporation, or other entity that has any solar development leases in place? Have any commissioners or their immediate family members been approached by any solar development company or representative?
No.
Okay. Do any commissioners or their immediate family members own stock or percentage of any company, LLC, corporation, or other entity that has been approached by any solar development company or representative?
How does anybody know that answer?
Okay. I think that's, do any commissioners or their immediate family members have any non-disclosure type agreements that would prevent them from accurately answering any of my previous questions? Okay. All right. That's all I have. Well, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Art.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. 9:37, Steve Raff? Roth, sorry.
Morning, before I start, I want to give you a public warning that I do not like speaking in public. I get nervous, I get anxious, I get frustrated,
You'll do fine.
you know, and all this stuff gets going through my head, and I worry, am I talking too fast, am I talking too loud, are my pants zipped? I mean, it's a whole litany of things that roll through here.
I'm with you.
Join the club.
So bear with me.
We're all in the same.
I got my notes, I'm going to get through it.
Steve, you'll do fine.
Okay, so, you know, I'm acquainted with most of you. I'm Steve Roth. I live down in the southwest corner of Coffee County. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk to you today, because this is an important part and aspect of county government, having access to our county officials and being able to express our opinions and our thoughts and make sure that you guys hear us. And so I'm here today to express my opposition against the potential future solar development in Coffee County. And I'm here to encourage you and urge you to, at a minimum, extend this moratorium that's in place that applies to solar in Coffee County. And you know, if you wanted to, we could take a stand and we could join our neighboring counties and we could just ban it. We could send a message that we value our agricultural heritage and our agricultural roots. We could send a message that we value our natural resources, our water, our wildlife, our environment. We send a message that we value our rural landscape and our rural lifestyle. I think the most important message that we need to send is that we don't want to become an industrial park or an industrial wasteland for some foreign-owned entity who doesn't give up about Coffee County. I think that's the message that needs to be sent. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about why I'm opposed to solar, but I would be more than willing to visit with each and every one of you about my concerns. You want to come on down, sit on the porch, we'll have a cup of coffee, we can have a cold beer, and we can discuss it. If you're in favor, tell me why. Let's have that conversation. You know, I was going to say I'm a relatively intelligent guy, but I don't know that that's accurate. But I am smart enough to form an opinion if I have enough information. And I just don't have enough information, and I think that's up to you guys to relay that information so that I can be informed, make an opinion. So I encourage you to do that. You know, even if at the end of the day we agree to disagree, at least we've had the conversation. I think that's important. See, I'm getting wound up here, and I'm taking a breath, starting to sweat.
I was gonna say, just take a breath and eat.
Yeah.
You're doing fine.
So I attended one of the planning meetings earlier of the zoning and the planning board. It was down the basement. It was standing room only. A big crowd. Steve, I'm pretty sure you were there. Wade, I believe you were there. So it was a big crowd. And during the public comment section of that meeting, I would guess maybe 30 people spoke. And I don't believe that there was one local resident that spoke in favor of allowing commercial solar development in Coffee County. Now you may say, well, there's only 30 people, but everybody can't talk at a meeting like that. And each time they got done, boy, they were rewarded with a round of applause from the crowd. You know, I think that that's a pretty good representation and a cross-section of the county. It appeared that the majority of that crowd was against solar. You know, and so as elected officials, guys, that ought to make your decision pretty easy. That ought to make that easy. Your decisions, I think, should represent the majority of the citizens and the voters of Coffee County. And that majority appears to be overwhelmingly opposed to solar in Coffee County. So, as was mentioned earlier, let's consider putting it to a public vote. You know, let the public and the voters decide what's going to happen in their backyard. You know, I don't know the details, but we've got an election coming up this November. We're going to the polls to vote for a president, and I think my vote's going to have to go to who can do the least amount of damage in the next 4 years. You know, but add a simple question ballot. Should we extend the moratorium in Coffee County? Yes or no? You know, I might be surprised at the results, but I don't think so. You know, I have yet to visit with anyone who supports solar development in Coffee County. I live in District 5, which is Wade's district. Now, and I've not talked to Wade about this issue, because as he has stated, he has a potential conflict of interest and he won't be voting in anything related to solar development. I respect that.
I am happy to talk about it, though.
You know,
and I can relay that information to others.
I appreciate that, and that's another reason why I'm here to get to the rest of you guys. You know, if Wade can't vote, then the rest of you guys need to hear my opinions directly from me and through Wade too. You're in a tough spot, and I'm sure it hasn't been easy. But that leaves 1,740 voters in District 5 without any representation or any vote. To say that minimally, this is an extremely controversial issue. That's 21% of the voters in Coffee County that won't be represented. It's just too important for Coffee County not to have everybody have some representation. And we've got to find a solution for that, and I don't know what it is. And maybe it's not the whole district of Coffee County. Maybe it's not just District 5, maybe it's the whole county. Now, all due respect to all of you guys, there are 5 of you. One is going to abstain. One, as I understand, has health issues, and that's where his focus needs to be. I hope that he recovers. I don't know the details of his illness, but that's probably what he needs to focus on and doesn't need to be worried about this. 2 others, I think the correct term is lame duck. I think that's the term. I mean, you didn't get reelected to your term, so you're finishing out. And how does that represent Coffee County going forward? I don't know. It's just a question. And I mean that in the most respectful way. Now, Mr. Knight, I watched the budget meeting the other day on YouTube. You can watch a lot of crazy stuff on YouTube and waste a lot of time.
You can, you gotta be bored.
You do. Well, but there's some pretty cool stuff that you can find.
There
But
is.
anyway, there's something that you caught. Something caught your eye and you dug into it. And you called that responsible party to task, and you guys grilled him pretty good. Good job. Good job. And I agree, that kind of looks bad. But the thing that struck me the most was that you stated that you needed to take the time to think that issue through before you made a decision. And now, what was it, 4 or 5 days? I don't know what it was, but you took 4 or 5 days to make a decision about a $35,000 check while you were working on a multi-million-dollar budget. Good job to all of you. I hope that you will put that much thought and consideration into the impacts of industrial solar production in Coffee County as you did for that $35,000 check. Guys, I urge you to take your time and educate yourselves on the impact of solar. We've got to know more. And then when you get educated, I think it's your responsibility and your obligation to communicate that with the voters of Coffee County and who you represent. You've got to talk to us. You have to hear our concerns. If you feel industrial solar is good, tell us why. We also need to know why you think it's bad. I mean, that's fair. We just need to hear both sides of it. We are only going to have one chance to make this right. We're going to get one chance to get it right. Take your time. You know, it's not practical for everybody to come to a meeting like this. We don't have time for that. I would ask you to consider, you know, I don't know if town hall type meetings are practical, or listening tours, or get to your communities and hear what they have to say. Make your opinions known. I think that's important in this deal. So I was looking for a way to wrap this up, and I'm not sure. I was looking for an analogy to make this happen, and this is what I came up with, so bear with me. You guys all have an agricultural background. In the mid-'80s, government came out with the CRP program. Plant your fields to grass, quit growing crops, collect a check for 10, 20 years. You know what I'm talking about. I was fresh out of college, and I came back to the family farm to make my debut. Man, I was smart, I was educated, and I was progressive. So I enrolled some acres in the CRP program. I wish I'd have dug into it just a little bit more. I wish we all would have dug into it a little more, and I wish we'd have read the fine print on the seed tag. Now, I don't know if Cerista Lespedeza was officially listed on that seed tag or not, but guys, I'm 100% convinced that that's how that got here.
And I'm not sure it was.
It was not listed.
It was not listed.
Well-
It's listed as other seeds.
Yeah,
And
we
all-
should have figured that out.
All came out of Missouri, didn't it? A lot of Lespedeza in there.
Yeah. Anyway, we let it in. We brought it in. We planted it. And it has infested our county. And we can't get rid of it.
We just thought must thistle was horrible.
Yep.
It's nothing compared.
That's right. Now, whether or not my neighbors participated in the CRP program or not, they've got the results. And I have spent more money trying to control Cerista than I ever got in CRP payments. So I wonder if commercial solar might be that way. Once it's here, it'll be too late. The damage will be done, and we won't be able to get rid of it. I urge you to take your time and really think this through, guys. I'm done. Anybody have any questions or comments for me? I appreciate your time.
Good job.
All right, thank you, guys.
You made it through.
I did, barely. I was sweating at a time or two. Thank you for your time,
Way better
guys.
than you thought it was. It was good.
Thanks, Steve.
9:49
That's pretty close to 950, isn't it?
pretty much does our agenda for today, other than the 1 o'clock planning and zoning meeting in the basement. Go over the rules or the regs. that was presented by the Planning and Zoning Board. We've got checks and vouchers to go through, more stuff from last week, 10-minute break.
Sounds good.
Come back at 10 o'clock.
Sounds good.
Very good.
10 o'clock.
Good to see you guys too.
It's gonna take away from our meditation time.
You want me to go?
David, I understand you got an update for us?
Yeah, well, I'll try to be quick. Actually, just a few things, and I'll cover real quick. So, I do want to start with Old 50. So, I was up there this morning. They did get the first lift down. I'm backing up a little bit. When I was in here last Monday, after we had the meeting in the field, we had directed the contractor to proof roll that north side to make sure that it was going to be substantially firm to get this road improvement down. It did get proof rolled last Monday, and it was at 99%, which is excellent. There were about 2 or 3 spots that still seemed wet, so we marked those. Our inspector marked them, and those will be done as the condition warrants for those to be dried out. I went up there this morning before I came down here, and the first lift is down on the north side. They're putting down the second lift of asphalt today, so the north side should be wrapping up in the next day or two. Ryan has asked for a meeting with the parties. We're going to meet at 2 o'clock today. He kind of wants to make sure everybody's on the same page when we get started on the south side. So I think that's a good move. He called me on that last week, and I told him I'll be down here on Tuesday, so let's just get the meeting. So we are inspectors, and we'll have all the parties represented to make sure that Ryan knows what Ryan's communicating with the county commission and what folks want to see on how that south side goes. So jumping off of that, the RAISE grant that we were awarded, about 3 weeks ago I sent those contracts. The USDOT provided the county sample agreements and contracts to get that process moving. He has been reviewing them, and we're awaiting a contact from the USDOT. They have designated a contact individual that will help the county, help us get that contract in place and agreed upon. This is for the $2.65 million for the countywide trails networks. And if you remember, that was 100% federally funded, so there's no match dollars for the county. I have reached out to USDOT to see if we can get our contact to go ahead and schedule the meeting so we can get this process moving. It'll take 3 to 4 months to get this agreement done. That's just the federal process. But I just want to let you know we're trying to move it along. I did speak to Wade, and we're just trying to get that meeting scheduled so he can have that conversation. We can have that conversation. If you remember back, last thing on that, I think I mentioned this once before. When we first got awarded, and that was great news, there was a thought of how we might help get we're going to have to help to get the contract done for the county. At one time, I still think it's a good idea. We were going to work with Government Assistance Services, Garrett and Brad's group, to help with the administration. While we might be focused on the engineering, let them handle the administration of the contract. And there's some value to that because federal government will have a lot of monthly reporting, a lot of requirements that come with that. I only bring that up because in looking at the details of the agreement, that work, any work that's done to get the agreement done, is not reimbursable by the agreement. Okay, so at this point, it'll be myself working with Wade to get this agreement done, since we're already under contract with you guys in an on-call role. And so we'll look to, once we get the agreement, where it can come before you for your approval. I think at that time we'll talk more about how we administer the contract going forward. That way those funds can be part of the $2.65 million. And then a couple other things. I just, we delivered the water study, proposal to you last week. I guess I'm here just to say, whenever you all say go, we're prepared to start that work. So, I think we were waiting to hear something from the SSM project on funds coming into the county. But nonetheless, it doesn't require a meeting for me to be here. If that happens, and there's an email that gives us a notice to proceed, we can begin work. Or if you all sign the agreement and send it, we can start.
You're talking about the water study?
The water study.
For
The county one, yes.
County, okay.
Yes.
And that not just entails the chips, I mean, that entails the whole county?
It entails the whole thing.
On the water supply?
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Okay.
It does. And so, just again, that's kind of want to be clear there. Just as soon as you all are at the point where we can say we have an executed, scope of work and contract there, we can get started. And then
So would the demands be that are projected, they'd all be part of that study then?
Yes.
I mean, do we have some fairly firm figures of what those might be?
And working with Carl Lee, and then working with, I'll start by saying from the KSMC project, we're using the numbers that they're giving us, and they've been pretty consistent when it comes to, I'll call it 3 phases of full employment, when they build out. And they're talking about somewhere between 1,250 and 2,000 employees that would be at that location. So when Carl Lee and I started looking at the water study, we've accounted for KSMC. And then we've included another 25 to 30% for the growth of the county. That could be through residential, that could be through, retail, commercial. I would say that's a reasonable number based on not all 1,200 employees are going to live in Coffee County.
Right,
You're going to get
right.
people coming from Emporia, Topeka,
Sure.
different areas.
Just like we do now for Wolf Creek.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So we felt like 25 to 30% very much falls in line with growth that could happen. It also falls in line with the comprehensive plan we did for the county back in 2019, where we looked at the 6 cities. One thing that we found in all 6 cities is that you all have a shortage of housing stock. I mean, just across the board.
Right.
So there's going to, we think that our numbers will work well. And the last item that we talked about last week when we brought the study before you was the fire issue, the fire control issue. That actually was the first item that came up a couple of years ago as to why a water study was needed. Was the fire districts had come to the county and said, hey, we don't even know what we've got out here, if we have the right number of fire hydrants, if we have the right number. We know that there's areas that the pressure is not appropriate, but how do we deal with that? So there's that issue that we're hoping to capture in the study as well.
So what do you need from us then to proceed?
I think it's just an approval of the proposal that we.
$117,000 to perform the countywide water study to see the deficiencies, areas, what do we got, what would be needed. Basically, I mean, and I can remember when this come on, and guys, I think you was here, but we had the water plant people here, and we had several different representatives that was representing the water districts and so on and so forth. And they was going to put an application to the state, because the state was gonna pay for study stuff, and then the state was overwhelmed with the amount of applications that they got, and they kicked it back out. It come back to us, and regardless, if we don't have any growth, we already have a water pressure issue in the county. I mean, we had several complaints up around the airport, North New Strawn area, and over in between New Strawn and Hall Summit and Waverly, and so I feel strongly, and I've said this in my questions from the newspaper re-election, what is the biggest issue that the commission has? And I believe water is the number one issue that is going to be a big ticket item
that is going to affect the county, and
I think kicking the can down the road for this information, you know it's going to spark a $30 million water infrastructure upgrade that we need to start planning for.
Right.
I mean, I know that's gonna happen.
100%.
And I look back on the water districts that have been ran, and there hasn't been much for increases to help pay for the infrastructure change or the ads that needs to be done. It's just stayed status quo, and now we're at a point where we've got major issues, or we can have major issues. And I think we're behind the gun on this study, and we're behind the gun on upgrading water for our citizens of the county.
well, this,
And it's gonna cost the citizens more, because it's gonna have to be paid for by the districts.
Right.
And they have to pay for their own. You can't run it just on a break-even deal. You have to run it to do infrastructure later on.
but this is something that needs to be done, and that's where I was headed. It needs to be done, especially because we're gonna have some kind of projects up there, whether it's,
Right. We've had other interests already.
we've had our
you
other
know.
interests up there, so that, we need that before, we need that started,
Yeah.
I guess is the point.
I think the only reason I, wanted to keep it in front of you was, I think where we left it was you guys need to just decide how you wanna pay for it. And one of the things that came up last meeting was the potential that SSM needs to pay the county some dollars that could offset this cost. I'm not here to pressure, I'm just here to say that that's all
No,
we're.
It's been on our mind.
Yeah.
I think the longer that we hold off, I mean, it's something that's going to have to be done.
I strongly believe that we need to, I would say we need to make a motion to approve the terms and conditions of the CFS presented of the water study for $117,000 to do a countywide professional engineering study and see where the deficits and everything lies in our water system.
How long a time would it take to do that? I mean, that's a hard question, I know, but approximately how long do you think it would take to come up?
I know that our goal was to try to, look at my document here real quick. I think what we were trying to do is get this accomplished in 6 months. Because we know that there's, not only is it a need for you all, it's a need, if things break, we're gonna have to go. And in the budget, we've accounted for progress meetings with you guys, progress meetings with the water districts, and we are also utilizing their engineers. They've got engineers on staff. We're not recreating new work. We're filling the gaps with work they've done.
So Stephen, with this study done, does that help District 12? Because they're going to have to increase, they've got the water capacity, they just don't have the facilities to produce. So this is going to tell them how much they're going to have to.
Actually, in this work, they're already working on that.
Okay.
So we're going to add that into this.
Okay.
And they did a contract with their engineering group,
Okay.
and we so that helped us. If you remember, originally I think our number was about 165. That lowered because they're spending some dollars to do that.
Okay.
Now we do have a little bit of dollars in there to work with them.
Okay.
But they're doing that work, so we're going to get that information. And they have been involved with our TEM, KSMC meetings. They're aware of all the data that Carl Lee and I've had. They've got it, and they're working with that.
So this would cover existing issues,
Yes.
just to explain to other people that, like for instance, we have areas that it's restricting any growth because meters aren't available. You know, a lot of this line's 50 years old.
Yeah.
And what a great program it was when it came about. You know, but think of that, I mean, time's gone by, it's 50-plus years old, some of these lines.
Well, and I think when this came up a couple of years ago, and Jesse, you might remember this, when the fire districts brought it up, it was, I think there was a fire in a rural area, and it was, you know, where they have their tankers that have to come out to do that, and they were on a line, or the nearest hydrant line had very low pressure. They had some extreme issues with getting tankers filled to deal with the fire. And so that kind of brought it to a head. They dealt with that in the past, but I think that kind of brought it to a head that, hey, we need to take a bigger look at these issues.
Things have changed,
Yeah.
you know.
So,
Well, you don't have your little 1,000-square-foot homes out in the middle of nowhere anymore.
Right.
You got
Right.
3,000-square-foot homes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And a tanker shuttle for a 1,000-square-foot home is a lot easier than a 3,000-square-foot home.
It is.
We've both been on the fire department, Steve, we know.
A lot more water on a 3,000-foot
Yeah. And the grass fires, the wind just seems to blow harder and harder nowadays.
Well, this is steady, we gotta get done,
You know, it's gonna be the next step, it's gonna be the next hard choice that the commission has later on. I'm gonna get ridiculed because I'm spending more county money for the SSM and the chip seal up at Vito Junction. But I mean, this is an issue that has been brought up around the airport area and other places in the county that our water is not sufficient for our residents as it is. You know, and you start, I mean, I can look at Lebo and see how many houses have been built in Lebo in the last 4 years. It's crazy how many homes have been built.
Our pressure there at our office continues to get lower, you know.
But it's also important that the water district also increases the pricing of this, because water is wasted. Joe leaves the stop tank run over, and it runs down the lane and pumps 65,000 gallons out down the lane and into the creek and into the nearest pond or the reservoir. Well, John wouldn't do that if it cost him 75 cents a gallon. You know what I mean? It'd be more, be more responsible of the waste of water. So I really think that I don't want to have to pay more for water, but this is what's going to have to happen to make this.
Well, we've had this discussion on this project for several months now. I think we need to go, I'll make the motion to.
It's on our computer.
See if you like it.
The motion reads, move to approve the terms and conditions presented by CFS for professional engineering services in the amount of $117,000 for a countywide water supply study and service master plan to assist in future discussions related to economic development. Funds to come from community improvement. Can we roll that?
under capital and
Oh, sorry, you do have it. Yeah, question, I just seen the question mark. So funds to come from community improvement reserve fund. Curry's already stated he had moved.
Yeah, I'm
I'll second that.
Seconded by Thompson. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
okay, we'll get started.
I think last week we was worried about the budget a little much when we discussed this.
Yeah. And I'm over my 5 minutes, but I will say this, one last,
we cost part of that.
one last update.
Wait till you get our charge.
I did want to ask, since you mentioned SSM, we are fixing to run the advertisement for the outer road improvement. That is part of that project. I just talked to Mark, we'll get that in the local paper. And then also I'm going to get with Ryan if there's any other contractors that he would want us to send that to directly. We would need to advertise that for 21 days per statute. So that'll run, I think we're saying next week it would run. And so we'll target that time, and then we'll do a bid opening and we'll work from there.
Paper, we got a sign on this contract for the passing of the water?
Yeah, it's in that letter,
We'll
so.
need that back.
Yeah, it's in that letter.
You don't have a copy of that anymore, do you?
I have a spare.
It's all, I got the signature page there, we're fine.
You good, okay.
My copy's out in the pickup, so.
I had to dig through my recycle bin this morning and pull it back out.
I'm good, I'm done.
My storage, my file cabinet.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Looked at the cat drug in.
Been here the entire
I was gonna say, he's been hiding. He's been back there.
Back there.
I saw him. I saw him immediately. You got any wise words of wisdom for us this morning?
Yesterday's holiday. What else do you want to know?
Okay, kids is coming up.
Yes,
Next
it is,
weekend.
pretty quick. Come on, come on. Unbelievable amount of prizes this year.
Good. Good.
Very good.
Thank you. Good, good, good.
Is that this week, Dawn?
Set up Friday and be ready Saturday.
Yeah.
What happened to summer?
I don't know.
Feels like it grinds it down.
Yeah.
You got anything front and center for us? You don't?
Trying to get a jail bill.
It's coming along well.
It is.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
They said last week that, they're gonna have some mock-ups for you. They always do. What they'll do is they'll have a fake wall, 3 or 4 foot, whatever it is. It'll have the brick on it so you can see what it's gonna look like. It'll have a window in it so you can see the flashing around the windows, how it's gonna look, So they were gonna try to get that started this week, so they do, then maybe this week or next week when it dries, we can come up and take a break, and we'll take a break, walk down and see they'll be set up there in the sidewalk in front of their, on the south side of their construction trailer. Just gonna give you an idea of what it's gonna look like finished, just a small mock-up there, so.
I know they're anxious to get it dried in, and they're getting closer and closer. Once they get that, it'll be set for winter as far as being able to work on it.
Yeah, the big hole you see on the northeast corner will stay open, that's where they're gonna put the cells in. That'll all be concreted in, there on between the new build and the existing courthouse. And they'll take those cells off, of course they're steel modular cells, and they'll take those cells off and set one down on rollers, and then they'll take another one in and snap it on the top. It's kind of like they snap together like Legos, so we have two tall, and then they will push them in through that big opening, push them in where it's set, and while they're doing that, another one's being set down, and they'll just lock them together like Legos, push them in, and then that's how they'll get them in. So that's the big opening you see on the northeast corner here. But yeah, all the Sally Pole will be started this week. It's already started on the very south end. They were doing block on it, CMU block. But all the interior on the south end, as far as the booking, is already blocked in. You can't see now unless you take a tour. If you haven't been through there, you guys take 30 minutes before you go home and talk to Ryan or call him. You got to walk through it. It's really now taking shape where you can see the rooms, not just the outer area. We were able to go up on the second floor and see how big that looks like it's going to be. Wade's offices are up there, and some of the patrol offices are in the very south end of the second floor. We walked up to the second floor, and Wade goes, "Oh my goodness, this looks gigantic." Of course, there's no walls, on it, but it just looks like an airplane, runway as big as it looks, But yeah, it's come along. We're very, very happy with the progress they've made. Those guys from Wichita, the Masons, man, they don't stand around. Not that anybody is, but those boys, they go to work now. And they are laying some block, let me tell you.
I know it's been pretty impressive. I mean, I've just been so impressed with the crews that they've got out there.
Oh, yes.
Man, they don't waste any motion.
Nope, they don't. So, very nice group of people, all of them.
Well, it's not very often a project this big goes as well as it has, I don't think.
Thanks for jinxing us, Jess. Appreciate that. Thanks for jinxing us. Everything's been going great till you said that, so. Now, but
I do what I can to help.
Yeah. They said at one time we had 19 or 20 rain days, rain out days. Just think we had 19 more days that they were working. But, again, if that's all we had to contend with is some rain days, and I'll tell you this right now, those boys, they don't go home. They'll sit out there in the rain, and as soon as it stops raining, they're trotting to to the site because they need to get working, and they'll get right back to working again. You know, I thought, oh, it's raining today at, 8:30, they'll be gone, we'll see them tomorrow. Nope. If it looks like the rain's gonna stop, they're sitting in their van, sitting in their truck, as soon as it stops raining, they're back to work.
Well, according to Cole this morning, they're a little bit ahead of schedule
They are.
as is, and that's really great.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So as soon as they wanna hand me the keys, I'll take them later, so.
What is the population over at jail now? Full?
Well, no, we were 3 or 4 shy of being full, but yeah, it's, again, it's still summertime, boys, we don't think it is, look at the jail roster.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we're equal opportunity people. If you deserve to go to jail for a crime, that's where you're gonna be, so, it's just, it's been steady.
Very well. Well, we've got some checks and vouchers to go through again today, gentlemen. I've already went through these. I'm keeping some out that we can discuss when you get done, because it's back. I went through, and I think the majority of that credit card is your department, isn't it not? Like, this is pretty much your voucher folder for credit cards. There's a lot of Texas and, schooling and police fuel, for the cruisers and everything. I suppose the only, and this is just my personal opinion, there's about $50 in tips that has been put on the credit cards for the county, taxpayer money, going for tips. And I just, we send people to school, we pay for their motel rooms, we pay for their food. I don't know where we draw the line on tips, you know what I mean? I don't know about taxpayer dollars on tips, but I don't know how I feel on that. I know it's splitting hairs, but, $5 here, $5 there, this month, next month, $50 a month for 12 months, I just don't know.
I guess the commission needs to tell me whether you want us to put tips on or not. I think that, my personal opinion is, if you have good service, that's just part of it.
Well, I agree that people should tip, but I don't know that on the credit card, the county credit card would be appropriate. What's you guys' feelings on that?
I don't know what to think.
I guess I've never thought about it. Yes, honestly,
it's not only the sheriff's office, it's other credit cards too throughout the county, don't get me wrong, I just brought it up.
I guess my feeling on it is, if it is good service, normally a tip is involved, and I know that involves county money, but maybe that's just part of it. I don't.
You view that as part of the meal, I guess, it's kind of the.
View it as part of the meal. If you don't get good service, you don't give a tip, but I guess I've just never really thought about it, Jesse. I guess in my opinion, it would be just part of the meal, but, okay. I
Just something I,
No, I'm
something I
done.
brought up.
I'm rambling now, but
Yeah.
I guess I've never thought about it until now, but it's just part of me, and maybe that's.
And that is, you know, we talk about all these things continue to keep going up, but everything the county buys continues to keep going up, and I don't know how we change that. It's like our discussion last Monday about the budget, and people that were in here, I feel their pain.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, the only way
I do too.
the only way we fix that is we cut services, or we raise taxes, or we get more industry in our county. You know, that's the only way but
Well,
everything we do continues to keep going up, and I just in the year and a half, I've been sitting here, this stuff keeps getting higher.
And never did I believe in the 35 years I've been in this business that, for example, vehicle costs. The price of a vehicle, you know, from when, you know, just since I've taken office, you know, in 4 years, you know, has went up tremendously. You know, go try to buy a truck. You guys know that. Go look at the county equipment that you're trying to buy.
Oh.
You know, it is unbelievable, just the cost of a vehicle. Never did I believe that I would be paying what I was for vehicles.
Right.
From pencils to cars.
That's right. That's right. It's unbelievable, you know, what it costs to run anything these days.
It would give you a sticker shock.
Oh, I'm telling you,
Well, it's a reality check.
it is unbelievable when you try to do what's right. You know, let's take for example these Dodge Durangos that we bought. These Dodge Durangos I bought because they were cheaper than anything else out there. Guys, I'm telling you, I'll never buy another Dodge Durango as long as I'm in office, because we've had nothing but problems in them in the shop. We've spent tens of thousands of dollars on problems, and Dodge just tells us, yeah, we're trying to get that fixed. You know, when you have antifreeze in the oil, and they're saying, yeah, we just don't know what that problem is. We've dealt with this at the national level, and I've spoken to other people, Kansas Highway Patrol, their fleet commander. I've talked to Arkansas State Police, and they're saying they're spending, this is how Highway Patrol fixed that problem. They spent $4,001 extra on every single vehicle for an extended company warranty because they knew, extra $4,000 on every vehicle Highway Patrol bought, because they have got so many problems that they know that's what they're going to have to use to fix them. And then they got a rep from the dealership to say he would go fight for them when they took it to a business to get warranty work, and they'd say, that's not covered. That's how bad it's gotten on stuff like that. I bought it because I thought it was cheap for the county. We'd save $3,000 or $4,000 a vehicle. Believe me, we've not saved a dime because everything that we've saved is going back into repair.
Well, it's just like new, whether it's big trucks or anything, even if they'll fix it, that doesn't have it in use for you.
That's
It's
right.
out of service.
Yeah, we're having to use
That's
spare vehicles.
huge.
You know, there was always a thing, why do I keep a couple of spare vehicles? Because the other vehicles I got in the shop trying to be fixed.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
it's unbelievable.
And to your point, that's just like the purchase that we made this morning with the equipment from the county.
Yeah.
You know, one bid was lower, but it was an unknown.
Absolutely.
And so, to me, that was a good,
Yeah.
choice.
We'll never buy that first thing out, you know, law enforcement. Let's buy this new vehicle that we know nothing about, because you're gonna have, everybody, it's with any new product.
Right.
You're gonna have those problems. You know, you buy the second or third year, you never buy the first year it's out, you know. But yeah, there's so many of these companies, like I said, when Dodge did away with the cars and just quit making those cars, and then you've only got an SUV or a truck, you try to think, okay, I gotta save some money, you know, because they're so expensive.
Yeah.
And that was just a mistake on our part. We thought that would work out, and we didn't know
It
the
happens.
issues.
But hindsight's always 20/20.
Oh, absolutely it is. But
Tail
yeah,
lights are brighter than your headlights.
man, it is a mess right now.
Back to your tip, Jesse, to me, it's expected by the service people, and it's probably just part of the cost that we have to kind of live with. As long as our employees do some control of that and do, 10% or 12%, not 25 or 30, it's probably just part of the cost. as far as, this voucher here that's got card service, and a lot of it is probably as Tom's, and maybe most of it. There's $2,600 here, but it's the accumulation of hotel space, this accumulation of some hotel. The 2,500 one is tied to fuel, and of course the smaller ones are just smaller ones from different locations. Here's one for $340 for dues and subscriptions. Here's one $564 for clothing and personnel supply. So it's just part of the cost.
Well, you know,
And I fully understand. We gotta
we
control.
supply them with clothes, we supply them with vehicles, supply them with a credit card, we send them to school, you know, and put them in motel rooms, and they can't pay a tip out of their own pocket.
I understand your concern,
That's-
that we're just trying to save money.
You know,
With costs going up, and I don't wanna say this,
I'm
or
sorry.
even suggest it,
Does this all go in?
yes.
don't wanna suggest it, but, you know, not replacing employees when somebody retires, a lot would end up being a subject down the road, but to me, we're not there yet, and hope we don't get there, because we're still gotta provide that quality service. That's our purpose.
You know, lots of people are, you know, suggest that we have too much of this or too much of that, and they're in favor of cutting it until it affects them. And then, well, I don't wanna do away with that, you need to look elsewhere, and I understand that, everybody looks out for their, you know, for their own situation, but that's our goal, or my goal here is that hopefully we can keep growing, we can get the industry, where we can maintain to be the county that has all these things that our neighbors don't have.
Well, I was told our citizens are prepared to go with a lot less, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the rec center, if it's the libraries, or, I mean, the fire
Yeah.
departments, or the road and bridge, or
That would be
the sheriff's office.
That was some of the roads in the other
Yeah.
counties, and
Yeah.
not to downgrade that, but that's the situation they're in. We don't wanna go to that situation with gravel roads that,
I went and hauled a combine down by Bronson
It's
last
not-
week, and I couldn't hardly get down the road for all the tree
Oh,
limbs.
Bronson?
Yeah, and I'm not knocking them, they're doing the best they can, you know.
But what we want is we want good schools. We want people protected in their homes. Nobody wants to go home and worry about having a burglary or a theft, anything else. Somebody protected in their homes. We want good schools and we want good jobs.
Right.
We want those kids that are leaving here, going to college, to come back here. That's what we want. And you've got to keep that growing. We know that. And to do that, then we have to have that industry and that infrastructure set up here to be able to bring those kids back. Believe me, I've got two nephews that are in the workforce, you know, that have came back here to raise families here because of the infrastructure we have set up here. So, everybody fights tooth and nail to try to save a buck. If you don't think that we are, we do. You know, like I said, we make mistakes as anything else. I should have bought other vehicles, you know, spent the extra money ahead of time and it may have paid off for them. Unfortunately, it didn't. But we all learn. We all try to do what's right. You're all trying to make decisions that you feel is right, just like I do. So all we can do, again, is, I guess, sit back when we're retired and think that we make a good decision or not, because that's all you can. You make the best decision, the informed decision that you can at the time, and you move on. So.
Yep. I'm gonna pass around this investment and distribution agreement, estimated cost of issuance to you guys again. That shows two amounts. One is $15,000, that's the 2024 B bonds, and 2024 A bonds is $20,000. And on the left column, I believe it states two words, Coffee County. Last week, we were presented with a $35,000 check from the county to Richard Kroll for the CID bond,
Recipient, Coffee County, Kansas.
SSM, Coffee County CID bond work that was assumed that had been paid directly to the individual versus to the county. At that point in time, we brought him in and visited with him about it, and he estimated that he had 25 hours of work. Mind you, that was last Wednesday. And we did have a discussion with Wade and Joe Serrano via the telephone about this stuff. We now have a voucher for $6,800. At the present time, last week, it was stated that Richard had 25 hours of time invested in working these bonds over, and since that day, he's managed to come up with another 9 hours, which brings a total of $6,800 at $200 an hour for 29, or for 25 and 29 hours. You're looking at what, 34 hours?
How's it, may I ask you that?
Yep. I'm still gonna hold my ground as this is to be paid to Coffee County. He come into us here a month or two ago and said that Walker Trimble was in charge of this. He didn't have nothing ill towards Walker Trimble. He just felt that it was right that the treasurer handles the county's money for this SSM bond deal, and expressed his concern, and he wanted to take it over. At that time, he didn't discuss any extra pay for the services that were going to be required to ensure that the checks and balances add up and we stay on hard costs instead of soft costs, which is required by the bonds. And then he presented a check voucher for $35,000. And we did visit with him, and you know, we kind of went in the way of, well, if you work on it, keep track of your hours, we'll pay you for it. But if a person's going to do that, do something to that aspect, I think there should be a contract drawn up as an individual outside of his county duties. I mean, I don't know. We've got a bad. I had several phone calls of this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday, I think.
I guess my assumption when this was done was that Walker was going to do it, and then because he couldn't write checks, that it should be done within house, which I was in total agreement with that. And my assumption was, and I know what assuming does, but that was just part of the job. That was just part of that's just part of the job, just taking care of county money. For one thing, I don't like that. I think it needs to be more detailed, just like when the jail presents their bills to us, it's in a detailed form. I was just thinking that it was just part of the job to take care of that.
If somebody thought they needed extra pay for it, it should have been brought up at the moment they said they wanted to take control over it again.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care if it goes into the I don't care if the money goes, $35,000 goes into the treasurer's office pizza fund. I think it should go to the county, not an individual.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree.
I mean, he is an official. I don't have his day of
he'll have his day of reckoning if it goes through this way, but.
Every elected official has a job, I mean, they have a job to do, but every time they do something up and above what that job description may be, they don't bill us. I guess that's the bottom line, it's part of taking care of business. I was really disappointed. Because the optics of it look horrible.
Absolutely.
Right.
I've had several calls the same way, and I'm just concerned.
Me too.
And
I don't want to treat any employee unfair, I don't want to treat any elected official, I mean.
no,
He's an
that's not
elected
it.
official.
That's-
My concern is, well, obviously I'm concerned about this, but we also set a precedent for the future. Any,
Just like Wade handling everything with the jail coming through, itemized, looking at each and every voucher and so on and so forth, and
But I think you can say that for
anybody,
Anybody.
Angie's office,
And
whoever.
you do what it takes to get the job done, and I really struggle with that.
Yeah,
so,
look at the hours, look what he is doing, you know. It'd be unbelievable the hours he's doing.
so
My thought is that, you know, when a person, especially the elected, when they apply and run, they know exactly what they're running for. They know exactly the dollar amount that they're gonna start out with. And I don't care what comes across the table. Increasing responsibilities, increasing more hours, it still should be for the same until it's recognized maybe a year later and possibility of an increase to justify it. And I probably wouldn't be for that. But this is totally unethical, totally inexcusable to apply for the $35,000. And I thought about it, a lot of it, I'm sure, I haven't had one phone call. Seems like I don't get a lot of phone calls down there other than the solar. I've had quite a few calls on the solar. But I'm not gonna put my initial on it. That's just the way I'm currently standing. If we go along and approve this, it's not been fair to
Anybody.
to all of our elected officials that set their name on a dollar amount when they signed up and got elected. And then plus all the other department heads that take on other responsibilities. And we've got employees that take on other responsibilities. And their increase in wage comes January 1st and, you know, whenever. But the ethics of it.
Even though it might be wrong, right, it's wrong.
well, I mean, yeah, the justification was that it wasn't county money. That was the thought process, and then,
I know.
but I had a lot more time to think about it.
I was really disappointed, and I won't put a signature on it, I guess is where I'm at. I believe that that's something that's just, you take care of.
How do we handle this right? How do we handle this right now?
Do like Wade.
Well, I thought, you know, if you call it, our comments last week were that we would do that on an hourly deal, but don't think that had more time to think about it.
I didn't sign it last week. Once again, I'm definitely not signing.
I'm very reserved on it. It's
Got a lot of bad
written all over it. And I'm sorry this come up and this was brought forth to us, but I think entitlement is, played a very large role in this, and I don't feel that it is ethical at this point in time.
As I do, I feel the same way, Jim.
It's a done deal.
And it's not positive for Coffee County.
Just the optics of it is horrible. I can't stress that enough.
Well, where would we, I mean, that's something that, we heard what Joe had to say on the phone. Okay, well, that's a way to resolve this. And then the second thought was, well, what's the problem with this on down the road
Exactly.
with everybody else with a similar situation?
Right.
I mean,
Honestly, when I took this job, there was a hell of a lot more hours in this thing.
the job's changed a little from the time we
Yeah, I know.
signed up until the time we got elected. I can
But
say that.
I'm just saying, there's more hours involved in whoever does it.
Yeah,
Tom Johnson, Angie, I don't care who you're talking about.
yeah,
You always have more hours.
right,
That's just part of the job.
yeah.
But there's a lot more things under consideration now.
I know that, Don,
With
and I
the
didn't mean that.
SSM, the chips.
But
Oh, yeah, yeah.
there are, but,
Not complaining, it's just.
no, I'm
the
not
job has
complaining,
changed.
I didn't mean that.
Yeah, I know you're not.
There's
I know you're
just
not.
more hours involved, and so you take care of business, that's my point.
A little more than what I explained away.
Yeah, some guy from Leroy sold me on the job.
You like, do your.
I'd be out of here by 11 in the morning.
I didn't quite say that.
Well, that's the way we took it, though. I'm kidding.
So I guess,
If that's the case, I'd be walking out here.
the general consensus of the board is
Yeah,
no.
we changed our thoughts, I guess.
And we needed time to think, I mean,
Yeah, that's where we made a mistake.
that's where we
too.
made a mistake, but
Is it-
Well, and I, under this Exhibit A and Exhibit B,
It states on there where it's going to.
it states origination fees for Coffee County. And yes, I do agree that it is going to reimburse Coffee County for the time that the taxpayers have paid Richard Kroll to do his job. It's reimbursing Coffee County for that time that it takes for him to do this work. But I don't believe it's over and above his salary as a treasurer.
and you brought it to the point that probably 80-90% of it is done in county office, and I believe it probably is.
And
That's my belief.
And like he said, he's free to do his work when and where, I understand that.
And I
That's part of
understand
the-
that, I don't
That's
debate
part of
that,
being
but
an elected official.
Is Wade Bodie not here today?
He'll be here for 1 o'clock.
He'll be here for 1 o'clock. So do we need to rerun this, payment register?
What do you want to do, just void it or what?
Yeah. I mean, the general consensus of the board is negatory ghostwriter.
So just write void across it on there.
Okay, like we did last week. Okay.
And hopefully the other, do you want me to get Richard to talk to him or?
I think we're probably the ones that need to tell him.
Or go get him?
Do you want one of us to go get him, or do you want to go get him?
I think,
he needs to come in.
yeah, I think under the circumstances, he
Well,
needs,
he's here.
he needs to come in if he's here.
Yeah, if he's here.
Do you want me to get him? or-
Yes, please. If you're good.
So you don't want.
Mr. Johnson,
Yeah.
take care of Tom.
Thieves are here.
Morning,
Morning,
Richard.
Richard.
Greetings. Tax guy just came in to pay one of, so we're down to 9 properties. I know that's not what you asked me for, but tax sales next week. 9 properties.
Maybe we'll get the
Marking them off the
We
list.
all just got richer off of this guy. We're just a bunch of dang thieves.
Richard, we discussed at length last Wednesday about this voucher. The
Mhm.
first the $35,000 voucher, and now $6,800 voucher for 34 hours on the SSM bonds. And in Exhibit A, under A and B bonds, it states Coffee County. Correct? One for 20 and one for 15,000, which totals to $35,000. And I feel, well, you know my place on last week. And then we got a 6,800. I know we had discussion after we talked to Joe Serrano on the phone a little bit about paying for the time that you do have invested in it. But I was willing and wanted to take several days to dwell and think it over, and I still hold my position that these funds come back to Coffee County to reimburse the county from paying you to do this job. Because it's over and above. Your job is to handle county money. And I have bad feelings on this whole situation.
Okay.
And I gave you every opportunity last week to pull it back and to move on and do what you said you wanted to do when you brought it back from Walker Trimble. If Walker Trimble did it, I wouldn't have no problem with Walker Trimble taking $35,000. I wouldn't have a problem
That's
with...
not the reason I took it away from Walker. I don't want Walker having access to my checkbook.
I understand. I understand the optics. I understand, and I visited with Walker. Walker was hesitant himself, and so it all works out. But when you brought that to us and said, "I want to take this off of Walker Trimble's hands," this is county money. This is county whatever, county business. I don't feel comfortable doing it. I want to do it. And at that point in time, I don't know if there was acknowledgement of any of this. I would assume probably not. You agreed that you wanted to pull this back and do this for the county. And then you turn around and put a voucher in for $35,000. And now a voucher, we scratched that, now a voucher for $6,800. And I've just got, I don't care if it goes in the Treasury Department Pizza Hut fund. I don't care. Meals or donated, whatever. But I just have bad optics of this going to an individual who is already paid by the county. My personal opinion.
And Richard, I feel like it's just part of the job that you do.
Okay.
Richard, I think we all value what you and your department does. I mean, we just don't hear any issues at all, absolutely none. And I thought about it over the 4 or 5 days. And I know when I was at the elevator, our elevator continued to grow and grow and grow. And 6 months, and Steve knows that, 6 months out of the year, we 16 hours a day. Did I get an extra $1? No. And if I had taken extra money, I wouldn't have had a job the next day. I fully realize that, and I'm not saying this is an issue here, but I got problems with the ethics on it.
Well, I have a problem with somebody saying my ethics are bad. I don't care if you don't want to pay me. That's fine. One way or the other. I don't care. But if you start questioning my ethics, you're going to piss me off.
Okay.
This money has nothing to do with...
It doesn't present a good...
Whatever. I don't care. That's fine. If you don't want to pay me, just say that. I don't need any more explanation.
Okay.
we should probably stop talking. I'm fine, it's not like I'm going anywhere. Will I be happy with it? No, it's no big deal, I guess.
Okay.
But if that's how you feel, great. We'll move on. All right,
Thank
see
you.
ya.
Thank you. I'm happy to know you.
It needed to happen that way. It needed to happen that way. I really feel uncomfortable with it.
Sorry, gotta run some calculator. Don could do this in his head. But not my little pea brain.
Not near that sharp.
You're pretty good with numbers, though.
Did you get any extra pay when you went 60 hours a day?
No. You know that.
But that was part of the job.
That was just part of the job.
Typical.
When we owned the elevator, it took that many hours. When we managed for the co-op, it, just a given. I was there 24/7.
I just initialed the void, that I wrote the void on there.
This was,
What you got there?
That was that municipal agreement, I couldn't find where to sign it earlier, it's stuck to the other page.
Okay, gotcha. Raymond James deal?
Yeah.
Raymond James. And it's only one signature. Okay. 11:02, our agenda is complete. Holy smoke, checks and vouchers are complete. We have the 1 o'clock zoning and planning and zoning at the basement.
Pardon me for that, and this 6800 is marked void. Do we need to sign this or?
You can initial it if you want to. I just initialed it because I am the one that wrote it on there.
This is on the void, it's not initialed here.
Oh, I didn't initial that one?
No.
Okay. I just initialed the total on the back.
Should we all initial it just to?
That's fine.
To me, we probably
Yep.
ought to initial it. You want to initial?
Go ahead and
this?
roll it on around. It'll be all right. I got signature on the total back page and on the check and on the other voucher, or on the voucher, so.
It just shows that we're all in agreement.
Did Brad get everything set up downstairs? Do we need to do anything? Do you know?
I think to have it set up, yeah.
Okay.
Because I talked to Adam last week to,
I think if the three that's gonna be present for the meeting, if you wanna wheel your chairs into the elevator and take them down to the basement and wheel them into the.
We still have to sign this, right?
yeah.
I'll probably just set one of the chairs down there.
I like comfort chairs.
These are.
We might be there for several hours, we don't know that.
We should
We might be there
just
for
this
several
one.
hours.
I think so.
Yes.
I went ahead and initialed the check itself.
I guess I'm planning to be there.
Oh, you will?
Setting up front,
Yeah.
but I'm planning to be there.
Okay.
If I don't see the harm in that, I'm gonna check Mr. Bowie again.
As long as you and him are fine with it, I don't have no
That's all
problem.
I wanna do is do what's right.
That's exactly right.
I'm sorry, they did this to you.
I said, I guess, I'm gonna check with Mr. Bowie. I'm planning to be there, but I'm not gonna sit with you, I'll sit in the crowd. I wanna make sure that's okay though, and if it's not, I've got hay bale, so.
Well, I'm almost wondering if you ought not be upfront with us, and then when you ask the question, would anybody like to abstain? Then you would say, yes, I would like to abstain from this meeting, and then move out, but that's something we might ask Greg
Yeah, yeah.
about. Be there at the present, and then
and then excuse yourself from it, then you can go around the back, so.
Okay.
Or whatever, go sit in the hallway.
Yeah.
Stand in the corner, wherever.
Okay, I'll try to catch you in there.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I wanna do whatever's right.
Absolutely.
Does anybody have anything for roundtable?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, Don,
I'm fine.
Wade,
No,
Angie?
I'm talking for today.
I do. I got notice from Jeannie Haas that they plan on having Government Day October 10th here. And usually, there's been a couple commissioners participate in that, so if one of you want to put it on your calendar, we've had one go up and greet the kids at the school before. We've had one here and kind of give a little presentation on what commissioners do here. And I've got notes from past times for commissioners, if one of you want to do that. And then the employee appreciation picnic is next Monday at 11:30. So if you guys might want to get down there, stay around 10:30 or 11. And then if you're willing to help clean up, which I'm sure you will.
Cleanup is the hard thing because everybody leaves.
So,
Road and Bridge has been darn good, helping with preparation and cleanup.
sir.
And,
They
I
have-
mean, even though it's an employee appreciation, them guys and gals, and Angie's staff,
Staff,
and Amber's staff,
Yeah.
yeah.
they all do a good job.
And actually, the only reason I asked about if we should go down there early was if I remembered right, last year there was some, issues as far as there wasn't enough help there.
right.
And if that would, and if that would alleviate it, well, we could go down and help,
Yeah.
do whatever we needed to do.
Sure.
And that was the only reason I
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fine. We've got everything ordered, so all of that's taken care of, so. And I think for now, that's all I have this week.
Yeah, I don't have any roundtable, I don't think, other than I spent a lot of time on 50 Highway, and I spent a lot of time last week on the telephone in regards to many different issues of the county, so
the phone's been,
it's
phone's
just,
been hot.
just part of it, so. Well, with that being said, I guess we can recess until,
What time?
well, we're supposed to start that at 1, so what? You say 1 o'clock?
We'll recess at
Recess
11:08
at 11:08 till 1 PM today
in the basement.
in the basement.
We're on recess.
We are. I did look over one time. All right, we're back from our recess. We have one motion here. Authorize direct chairman to sign lease agreement between Coffee County Board of Commissioners and SSM LLC for the lease agreement on the Bailey property, north house property.
As we discussed before.
Yep, as we discussed before. Same terms, no changes. Their side is signed, and
And so the motion is for you to sign, or for the chairman.
move to authorize direct chairman to sign lease agreement to SSM LLC for the property, Bailey Property House. 12384 Old Highway 50.
I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Moved by McCurry, seconded by Thompson. Any discussion?
Is the timeline on that a year?
Yeah, a year or agreed upon sooner,
Okay.
if of
So
a
that-
exit, or
Right.
Well,
what do I wanna say?
accepted that.
We have the right to give them 30 days, if I remember right.
Yes.
In case something came up with that,
Correct.
another use for that
Property.
property.
Yes, correct. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Hard to believe this is the 9th month already. Oh, my gosh. Christmas.
It ain't the first either, it's, we're moving
We're
along.
gonna move around. Christmas is right around the corner, guys.
Yeah, snowstorms here first week in November.
I'm
They've already got a snowstorm out west.
Yeah, it is. Or it could be in October.
Okay. That's done. We're waiting on Wade for 2 executive sessions. Did he happen to say what they was?
No.
20 minutes or?
He didn't say time.
Never say time, just say 25.
I bet it's 20 minutes.
I couldn't tell if my speaker was working down there when I talked into that mic.
None of them work very good.
That, we have, for what we have in the county, we need a better system in here and a better system
Because
down
quite
there.
honestly, the folks out there deserve to hear
Yes.
what we had. I wasn't sure that my mic was working.
You could hear it a little bit, but not a lot over your voice, really.
I could hear Heidi and I could hear,
I could hear
Heidi
Russ.
and I could hear Russ and a little bit of Dawn, but I couldn't hear myself and I couldn't hear you and I couldn't hear Wade.
Yeah, and that's where with me.
I thought mine was going out, but it may not have been going out.
Our lights were red, the little ring around the,
Yeah.
around the top side of
Yeah.
it was red, but I would be all for some type of a new system in here, but that's the worst thing about YouTube is being able to listen to what somebody is saying.
Just because on YouTube, a lot of times it's muffled for whatever reason, and a lot of times,
And that machine, the pop machine and the snack machine out there, that noise reverberates into that,
Yeah, it
into that
picks that
speaker
up.
system
It does.
Yeah,
and muffles our voice or our,
but that door's gotta be open, that's the problem.
Door's gotta
If
be
that
open.
door was shut,
yeah,
it'd make all the difference in the world, but,
can't have that.
or it'd help a bunch anyhow,
Yeah.
but people come and talk to us and talk softly, and it's really,
I can't hardly hear them from there to here, let alone from
Yeah.
there
Oh,
up
yeah.
there and then through
Yeah.
the speaker.
and sometimes I don't talk loud enough, sometimes I talk too loud, but if I've got my hearing aids in, I can hear myself talk. But
Come on, Wade.
when did you reconvene at 3:10?
3:10. That way you can see it, and I'd have a problem with that myself. I used Tom's glasses last week to see some writing on the paper, because mine they were not working anymore.
I assumed that Tom lost his glasses, I don't know.
yeah, he said he has multiple pairs,
Yeah.
so he stated that a lot of different occasions,
Okay.
so, cause he'll have one on his head,
Yeah.
and one on his eyes.
And I gotta remember to take these home, because these are my office glasses.
It's just something that probably,
There's the contract. I already made the motion.
I just got this today. I'd requested this be done, because there was a lot of, comments made in reference to it. What it is a transcript I had created of the commentary before the board on the 19th by the representatives from Evergy, because that was quoted multiple times in multiple different
Good.
places. So that way, now you have something. I just had a court reporter, I requested, can you go through and put it down in writing what everybody said. The main ones were what the Evergy people said, so that way there's a record you can refer back to and look at. Just,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this would be useful, thank you.
so, and I'll have it paid for through the county council or budget. It's fairly inexpensive, but
I was gonna say,
there is a cost that goes with it.
Thank you very much.
I need to request
This can be referred to anytime that way.
Yep. I need to request 2 executive sessions, and maybe let me back up. I wasn't originally gonna be here today. I have family in from out of town. They've never come to see me here, so I'm trying to take advantage of the time I had with them. They leave tomorrow, so I'm not dressed up, I'm dressed down for that reason. I don't want it to be looked at as a sign of disrespect for my role, but that's why I wasn't here this morning either. I need to request 2 executive sessions, one under attorney-client, myself and the board, and it can be just for 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes will capture what I need to capture. And it is in reference to, well, it's not, actually I take that back, it's not attorney-client, it's non-elected personnel. It's to discuss matters that involve protected health information. To discuss it in the open would violate HIPAA, so.
can we do that, here? Did the exec session
Probably where it's personal.
We can, we just shut the doors.
Oh, okay.
That's how it's been done
Okay.
historically. My main concern on why we do it elsewhere is the walls are thin.
Right. And if you, I was just asking.
We're fine. I don't think there's nobody out here, there's nobody in there. I
Okay.
think we're good, so.
I'll move for executive session. County councilor and the board for 5 minutes. And we'll stay here in the commission room with the recorder shut off.
I'll second that. I guess you said you moved it.
Yep, moved by Knight, seconded by Thompson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. We will enter at 3:21 for 5 minutes. Type later. We back in? Yep. All right, we're back after executive session number 1.
No action taken. While we're waiting for, I guess, Brad to come back,
He may be in the other door, I don't know where he went to.
I think he'll be back in 5 minutes. Whoops. There he is.
Back, okay. Yep. Didn't want to burst in too. Nope, you're fine.
Do this again now?
This one will be attorney-client.
No action taken on the last one.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't in there when I said that. Attorney-client, this one 15 minutes, and this will be, legal advice regarding contract language, proposed contract language discussion.
You said 15 minutes? Is that what you said? Yeah, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it also has another proposed contract negotiation discussion and, county property. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
I'll so move.
I'll second. For 15 minutes.
Moved by Meeks, seconded by McCurry, 15-minute executive session. Wade and the board, 15 minutes. Any discussion?
What time?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. We're going downstairs for this one.
We can stay up here.
Okay, we stay up here. So we can enter at 3:20, let's just go 3:30. Yep. You got 10 minutes. You can shut that off.
Leave it on.
Oh, leave it on?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you leave it on till 3,
Yeah.
until 3:30. So you don't gotta leave until 3:30.
Oh, leave.
I guess we don't have to walk any place.
Well, I knew it was gonna change to 3:29, so.
Yeah.
That was Gwen's car that had the flat tire last Wednesday. Left front. I guess, was that right? Yeah, Gwen's, yeah.
Was there a nail in it, or, you know?
We just seen it below. Wade had an air compressor on his truck, so we just wheeled around and had him get a hold of her. Oh, Gwen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like
Got
it
it.
had been low on our way.
There it
in.
goes. Alright, that
Our roll
works.
was black.
Yeah.
You caught it out in the parking lot, is
I just happened to see it.
Yeah, we're good, yeah.
From downstairs.
Oh. There she is.
I'm back.
All right, we're back. Well, let's wait for somebody to get to typing and or writing.
I don't know how to open this thing. They put the secret password on there.
We are 549.
You should just
That's
say
okay.
incorrect, and that way it reminds you what it is.
Oh, that's you here.
Well, you know, a lot of people.
They just don't want you
That's
to,
not what you're talking about.
executive sessions, we need to correct the statute number on the first one that I have.
You know, that was a goofy show, but that was fun to watch.
Oh, I did, I
Thanks,
love
Brad.
that show.
We watched it all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, the last executive session, there's all that way.
There's no action being taken, however, there's maybe, just, an asterisk to that executive session that was, in reference to contract negotiations of county property. The summary is this, and it's not gonna require a motion. So, there had been, Mr. Skipper has, his last day with the county was last Friday. There had been a discussion previously about Mr. Skipper remaining with the county as on a consulting basis. There is going to be no consulting contract, and the reason is in an effort to keep his role with SSM and the county, which may work with and will for the immediate near future as a partner. It's better that Mr. Skipper have independence and the county have independence, and there not be any appearance
that there's something going on between the county and SSM through Mr. Skipper as a consultant with the county. So it's in his best interest and the county's best interest that both sides just cut ties, and then if he has something that needs to be done in his role with SSM, he can make that request and be an SSM employee, and they're not here to question whether he's doing so as a county employee or as an employee of SSM. So that was something that needed clarification, and it's the reason why there has not been a motion presented to the board to enter into a consulting contractor agreement with Mr. Skipper for outside consulting services. Is that a fair summary?
Yep. Well, and I mean, at the time of all this, you know, we were like, you know, you don't see, you sit back and look at things for a little bit, and then you see the conflict of interest, or, you know, it's bad for him. It could potentially be bad for him. It could be bad for us once you sit back and look at the whole scope of things, but as soon as when it first comes out, you're like, crud, now what are we gonna do? Well, we need to kind of keep him around, you know, for what ifs on the chip deal, and then you don't realize the whole bigger picture that it could be jeopardizing to him and to us.
And what's the best for SSM, him, and the county, you know.
And I think it would be best for him and SSM if he was 100% SSM and we just go do our thing, and that way he can bring stuff to us and it's not be a conflict of interest.
Because quite honestly, at the time that we found this out, I was concerned about, because Bobby, I mean, everybody reaches out to Bobby, and then, you know, what
Right.
do we do?
How are we gonna deal with that?
How are we gonna deal with that? That was a thought behind it.
Right.
But just like everything, you let that little bit of water roll under the bridge and you start finding
I think, where's the water leaking?
So,
Well,
no.
it's just time for thought.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just wanted clarification, so I made sure I was doing what I needed to do, and this update, I think, helps not only internally but externally as well.
Yeah.
Very well.
So while you are, well, those are the only two things I had. Do you have anything additional for me? Any questions, anything you need?
As soon as I got that signed contract from him this afternoon, and Barton had signed it, I released the garage door openers to them. With Bart's disability, it's a little tougher for him to get in and out of the vehicle to open a garage door and then just drive in the garage, you know. So I gave it one key for the house, one key for the shop, and two garage doors for the house, and one garage door for the shop. That's all I have. So I have extra keys for both.
Okay.
And I will turn them in to here. I just didn't want to relinquish all of the keys.
Right.
So.
Yeah, good idea.
Good idea.
But I know there's three. We might note that somewhere that there was three garage door openers, two for the house and one for the shop.
Okay.
So
It might be,
we'll probably write it in the contract. Just write it on top of it.
if Angie's willing to do so, the extras that she holds, so that if there's, anybody ever needs anything, that they're housed with the clerk's office, if you're okay with that.
The leftover keys for the Bailey property, the house and the swimming pool. I mean, there's key there for the tarp cover and all this other stuff. And so I mean, it's just miscellaneous keys, but I didn't want to get rid of all of the keys to the property, because if we lose them all, then we have to have it rekeyed, which is very expensive.
Well, and the way that reads is if there's a need that the owner needs to come in and do something that they have access,
Right.
and they don't have a key, the owner doesn't have a key, then that creates
An issue.
So wait, just a quick question, can I ask? Did you get the insurance information in there from Bobby? that needs to
The
be,
the insurance information is in there, it's included in one of the paragraphs that references, what the county requires and $2 million per occurrence. So,
I just wanna make sure we didn't forget that.
and we just need to have them send us that policy so we can go with that. Actually, we need to get it so we can send it.
Just a proof of insurance, that's what it is, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
they have to have insurance that is comparable to what the county's policy requires. And that's included in there, and in the information I presented to Bart, and then copied up with, Jeff. Is that it?
I can't remember the lawyer's name.
It had that information, and it had an explanation of why that's the amount, and that's what's required, so they just need to get that to us.
So is it double, and so are we the county dropping the insurance on that then?
No, so the county's
Then why how
insured,
can you insure two property with two insurances?
well, it's basically a renter's
Renter's
policy.
insurance.
Yeah, it's a renter's policy, but it has liability provisions in it that are equal to
Okay.
the county's coverage.
If a fire happened because of their barbecue or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And that's pretty typical.
Yeah.
To have a second policy that covers those types of things.
Well, I would say, once we get this emailed to them, the final copy, then we can put in the file and write down that they've received 2 house or garage door openers and 1 shop garage door opener.
Will you put that on a sticky note, and then we'll put that on the top of it?
Okay.
Is all.
It's a handwriting test now.
Well, you're finishing up, let me go finish that resolution, because that has to be, unless you wanna come in for a special session.
No, let's get it
No,
done.
that's fine.
Knock it out.
Before the 5th.
Wait, for clarification, you said down there you were abstaining because you owned 1 tract of land?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wrote
That
down,
was-
but I wanted to make sure.
Yes, 1 tract of land that was leased to the potential developers. I can't remember my words, but that's,
The developers, what they've done. What was in the 17 pages,
and I should have known what was coming in that list, Jesse. I didn't mean to cut in, but I just thought, well, before we go too far, I'm just gonna need to get that taken care of, you know, so.
I knew I had that water study somewhere, I just couldn't find it over here, it was under here.
I've got a whole file cabinet over there, but most of it needs to go in that bin there at this point, but it was worth saving at the time.
Well, you don't know when that stuff is gonna be brought up
I'd
again.
have to find it, though,
Yeah.
gee, but.
Gotta be careful about throwing any wood.
Yeah.
Come on, fingers, work right. Good grief.
That was a left-handed paperclip.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Must have been a left-handed paperclip. Wow. I fumbled that thing long. That's why I didn't play much football. Can't even operate a paperclip.
Yeah.
Western song, Waiting on Wade. Yeah, get that rope.
Well, if everything goes well, Tom will be with us next Monday.
Yeah.
That's his plan.
It'll be great to have Tom back on
It will
board.
be, it will be.
Sure hope.
Wish him the best recovery.
Yeah. I know him, I'm sure he's working double hard to get
He's
back
working-
in shape.
He's working out pretty good yesterday.
Looky here. Solar rules and regulations. There we go. Oh, now we got one. There we go. Oh, there's Franklin County. We'll throw that one away too.
I've got a book and I'm keeping my stuff in, I'm probably gonna run out of book.
Yep.
It's just like we all have books on the living.
When are they gonna bring that back to us?
Oh, I don't know, I forgot about it.
Yeah, that's gotta come back to us, cause, basically the zoning,
Was
the zoning, fixed that one that was in the city limits or in the
Right,
3 mile
right,
of Waverly.
by Steve Lytle.
And then they said next XA on the other two, deal with it.
And I thought Ryan was going to come in with a,
Well, that'd be Heidi coming back in for another public, for another, a whole nother deal.
yeah, I don't know.
A hearing.
But I couldn't find my book. Well, I finally found my book, it was over here in a pile of stuff.
Neat pop.
Yeah, they took them back with them the other day.
Well, yeah, cause that way they didn't have to make more copies of it, so.
But I don't know, Jess, I kinda forgot about it.
Yeah, that should be coming, that should be coming back around to us from Heidi. I don't remember what she had that was in the minutes, that it would be sent back to the commission. I knew it wasn't gonna be this week. It might be next week.
It might be, they've had their plates full and
Well, you don't have to be around here for the resolution, I don't think.
Okay.
It's about the solar resolution.
Okay.
You abstain from it.
Yep.
If that's all we got, I mean, I think you would be free to ride out.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Right
I
off
wasn't
to the
part of the
sunset.
board when that happened.
Yep.
Yep.
Right off
That
to
is
the
fine.
sunset. Just save you from staying here. You don't need to be here. But you're more than welcome to stay if you want to.
No, I'm just daydreaming.
Yeah.
Killing time.
well, this is a little cooler in April right now.
It is. And I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
You guys have a good week.
You too.
You take care.
Take care.
You too.
Yep. got a meeting tonight. No.
I'm free tonight. Tomorrow night I got,
Oh,
that's supposed to be in Garnett, between 2 and 4 for Joel's retirement. He was a grain merchandiser there. Not from the inception, but I'd say, because we were 17 years old now, but he's probably been there, probably, could be 12, 13, I'm not sure. Tremendous individual. I'll give him a call. He's still gonna come back in and assist, the new grain merchandiser that is tired, and I can't think of his new name now, it's in my phone, but Joel's gonna spend a couple days with him every 10 days or so. I'll give him a call and I'll go over and meet him. Sorry, it's not that far to go over.
no, it's not.
Joel's been a huge
Little boy's eye.
As a whole, he's gonna say energy, he's got office staffs, and they don't go over and change the move. Turnover gonna be pretty low. And I don't know if anybody will retire in the next 10 years because of age, it might be more than that. The outside staff, I'm not sure there, but. I haven't even looked to see what I haven't even looked to see what ethanol's done the last 2 or 3 weeks. Everything's really moving good. Distillers grain's a little slow right now. Basically, most all the cattle's off grass, except full season, so.
But that'll start to pick up soon.
It'll pick up in October.
Yeah.
It'll pick up here pretty quick.
You know, after I retired, why once in a while the feed department would need a truck driver or something. That's it, I like doing that, I didn't have to deal with the public or anything. Every once in a while, we'd have to go and get a semi load of DDG, and I'd grab a semi and go over. That was kind of enjoyable going over there.
It's a pretty drive over there.
It's a pretty drive over there.
It is. You can't get in a hurry.
You can't get in a hurry.
You know, they threw a black snake down and chased it with a bulldozer back in the day when they built that road.
But you drive in and there'd be lines of trucks and corn, and you just drive on up and she'd shout at you for you to come on in.
There'd go blind fire everybody up. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did a transcript of Evergy's conversation with us, everything that was said and so on and so forth, because there was some misconception and misinformation that was put out. Not about us, so Wade paid for it out of his.
Just take mine home and read it.
Wade, Wade, good. I hope I didn't speak out of turn, but I don't think Wade Thompson probably did vote for the moratorium previously, but that was before the information was put out that he was involved in that. So with the new information, I hope I didn't screw that up. Send him home. I don't think he'd vote, I don't think
No,
Wade would, I don't think
he-
the attorney would want us to do it, so.
He voted for the first moratorium.
And then he's been instructed to stay out of it.
And then after that, and this time he didn't, he abstained from any.
Right. So he's
And
gonna
so the new
abstain.
resolution that we're doing now is for the new moratorium,
Yes.
is that correct?
So he would abstain from it as well, I think.
I think that's right, Janice.
I think we're all right. They start work down on the health department today.
Something's going on.
They're supposed to.
Yeah. I haven't been down there, but yeah. I know I was down there last Friday and things had been moved around.
With that.
I'm worn out now.
Mentally, yeah, mentally drained. I didn't have to take melatonin until I become a commissioner.
You didn't take what?
I didn't have to take melatonin until I become this job.
Last night I woke up at 1 o'clock and was still awake at 2 and was reading, and then I turned the television on and I finally just stayed up. I couldn't get back to sleep.
I take a little medication. Normally I'll stay asleep all night, but there's times I'll wake up at least once.
He's gonna keep us here till 5 o'clock.
Yeah. I bet he had to rewrite the whole thing, or write the whole thing. Got any corn being shelled up already?
No, we're still probably
Not yet.
2 weeks away.
Want to get out of the road down to Leroy right now.
You guys are always earlier down there.
Well, we're earlier than you,
And then,
earlier than you are, and then this year you were wet.
yeah, we were.
We had guys started the 25th, 26th of March, and you had to get
Fact
out.
is, we had 2 or 3 guys that had to replant just because of planting and then a big rain coming in. And normally corn is pretty tall. I mean, it'll come up through anything. And then this year, it just buried the stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that they planted any deeper, it was just a lousy stand.
There's a lot of shelling going on. I don't know if anybody on the river bottom yet, even though we didn't have a lot of rain, that river bottom corn.
It's a state green.
It is still gonna make a lot of corn.
Yeah,
It's hard to beat that river bottom.
it is.
It can produce corn in a drought.
Well, you've got deep soil instead of.
Yeah, they got feet and most everything else is inches.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Very few inches at that before you hit that old tiger orange clay.
Yeah.
We got some of that tiger south of Leroy between there and Mills Falls.
Just washed all the topsoil off of it, isn't it?
Well, the floodwater for probably the last 50 years, floodwater's been over 5-6 times. I mean, maybe more.
Yeah, my father-in-law used to farm south of Leroy there. LB Platt had ground down there. And so Bud, his son, farmed all that. And invariably, it'd flood.
But that's pretty good dirt.
Well, that was really good dirt, but man, I can remember.
Pretty good dirt, but floodwater did. Could get it.
We'd go down there and the corn would be tossing and it'd be a foot below the tossing.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun.
Jerry Murray's got the west side of it. On the east side of the highway, Gene Sauter, which is Gene
Right.
Sauter Estate now has got it. There's wasn't too many on the west side. There's only about 65 acres there. But the west side, what Jerry's got, there's probably 130 or 40
Yeah, I think
farm
that,
ground.
yeah.
Yeah, the old house has probably been gone 50 years, maybe more. The water got into it every 3 or 4 years. I can't think of the man's name that lived there, farmed my dad farmed just south there on the west side. Dad farmed the Carmine ground. there was 150 acres in the bottom, and there was 120 acres in the upland. That farmed that ground for 25 or 30 years. It belonged to Carmine. Carmine must have had, they must have, probably had equivalent to 3 sections of 18. Probably had 2,000 acres.
Wow,
And most of it was hay.
Part over here?
Big,
No, I would say it's probably on the rock back. Sometimes when you kick your leg underneath there, it'll flip the little pin to keep it from rocking backwards. It just be touching there, and then you're going back, catches and goes, falls back, and scares you. It was like waiting for paint to dry. Catch him real quick.
Still got the same manager of Ottawa Co-op.
Yeah, Clark Winger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him since 2019. That's last year I was up there
For
for the Veterans
for the,
Honor Flight.
right.
He always gives, Ottawa Co-op always gives $1,000 and Vista Bank matched it every
Oh, is that
year we
right?
done. And we was there, we raised the Veterans Fund in 15 and 17 and 19, then COVID hit. Then since then, they've had 3 or 4 flights, but they got plenty of money.
I knew that.
I'm not gonna chase, I'm not gonna go after money when everybody finds out, well, my gosh, you got a lot of money, why do you?
I knew that Clark had supported that because you came up and visited me at the office, I think, one day, and I can't remember. I think I called Clark or something
Yeah.
for you to go up.
I forget all the details.
Yeah, I can't remember the details, but he does a good job of supporting numerous things.
They still selling grain through
Oh, yeah.
the deal out west.
Yeah. And I think that's doing better.
I know it wasn't, it shouldn't say much, I guess,
Yeah,
we're on
yeah.
the phone, but, yeah. I know. Last employee I knew that worked there was Calvin.
Pearson.
He's not there anymore.
No, he retired. He retired a couple of years prior to. I retired in 19. I think Calvin retired in 17 or something.
I knew he'd been.
But he was
retired.
operations manager up there for a good number of years under Adrian.
Oh, he moved up to that position.
He was number 2 spot.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Well, I think I may have.
Yeah, he was number 2 man.
Tell Piercy's he's still in Ottawa.
Yes, in fact, he's farmed. Well, he's down around Princeton, but he farms.
I haven't seen him for 20 years.
Now, which one? Who did you say?
Dale Piercy.
Dale Piercy. I'm sorry. Dale is still in Ottawa. Yes. I was thinking of Calvin, but yeah, Dale's still in there. Yeah, I haven't seen Dale for a long time.
I don't know when the last time I've seen either one.
AD I see every once in a while. He keeps busy. Of course, he was always a busy man, so he keeps plenty busy.
You said AD, you're talking about Adrian?
I'm sorry, Adrian, yeah.
Well, I put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, Adrian.
I haven't seen Adrian for a long time. used to talk on the phone occasionally.
No, he ran a tight ship, just similar to what you did. I mean, it,
Had a good year down at Leroy. Of course, their year end January 31st, but they patched these dividend, you know, from fertilizer and fuel. It was equal to what the bottom line was, almost $1 million each way. So they ended up with 1.95. But that was based on sales of six. It was in the mid-60s, I think. It was down from last year.
Right.
It was down from 4 or 5 days. Had a good year last year at Leroy. Refined fuels, I know. Dividend was pretty good. Of course, you don't get all that in cash.
Right.
You don't get it all in cash.
man, that feed business is, yeah,
Unreal. They're going clear to the Missouri line.
they're running
Quite
well.
often they're running 2 semis and a bobtail. And I think there's another truck.
I was gonna say, I think they run 3 or 4 trucks, I think.
Brian Meats has done a good job with that. And I don't know of any other mill. I don't think Pickaway's running a anymore.
Well, so many mills have shut down. I mean, Waverly's still got the mill. But that's the only location, well, that was the only location for auto co-op was just,
Yeah.
at Waverly.
Don't think there's any mills. I don't think there's any mills trade east right now.
Garnett doesn't have a mill.
But I know they're running all the way to Lynn County and I don't know how far south.
Well,
I forget what their sales were in feed, but it was pretty healthy.
there's that Kemper, whatever, Kemper links. So,
Old Kaplan.
presidential election in 2 months. Holy smoke.
Yay.
I'll be so glad when that's over.
Maybe.
You're right, maybe.
The money's going into that, it's unreal. The money's going into that is unreal. Raise $100 million a week, or a month, or $150 a month. I don't even listen to the darn news anymore, other than the local news.
Yeah. I listen and then I get mad and turn it off, so.
Well, that's better than throwing a hammer at it. You go check on Wade?
Yeah, he's frantically typing. I kinda threw a monkey wrench into it, but I think he's gonna survive.
I'm shooting for 6 o'clock to get home tonight, so.
Well, it might be doable. Might need a police escort to get you there, but. Not the ones in front of you, not the ones behind you.
That's
right. That's considered a chase.
Tom had a sheriff call us down in that state rock quarry there on 58 when you turn off and go to Leroy. There was a sheriff car sitting there.
Oh, really?
You know, headed straight to the 58. Can they pick up speed going crossways that quick? Can they pick up
Oh,
speed?
coming shooting behind him or?
Shooting ahead of him?
Well, if he's ahead of him, yeah, he probably
But
can.
see, he was sitting there in the parking, sitting there in the rock pile,
Mm-hmm.
headed south. He's probably 50 or 60 feet off the blacktop.
Mm-hmm.
But a car passing directly in front of them, can they pick that speed up?
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize who it was. I mean, they might have been looking for somebody too, I don't know. I did.
It's getting hot in here.
Getting hot in here, want the fan on?
That's
right.
Oh, we're still in a meeting, and I just stepped out real quick. That 1,500, and I should have called you yesterday, I tried to sit around and figure it out. We said 500 on behalf of the lodge. Said 500 on behalf of co-op, and spent 500 on behalf of National Sonic Foundation. So the check we sent was 15.
I think it's supposed to be nice all week, isn't it?
I think
Yeah.
so. Although it has warmed up a little bit out here today.
Yeah. Yesterday was so nice.
I sat around and okay, we'll see you later. All right, thanks, bye.
So we're done with everything on the budget. We did all that last week. That's done and over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you don't have,
The other thing we have is for zoning and the housing board or the housing board and
zoning.
zoning planning board.
And you don't have a whole lot other than just whatever comes up in the next few months that I know of.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be something.
Well, yeah, there will, but, I mean, I just don't know of anything.
Yeah.
Nothing critical like the budget and stuff like that.
These next 3 or 4 weeks probably a little light, but you never know.
I guess I can see, that moratorium.
See, the moratorium's being extended today.
Begins September 3rd, 2024. Begins.
Three years from that day.
Okay.
Yeah. Or earlier.
Or earlier.
I'm gonna bet it's not earlier. I'm gonna bet a comprehensive plan takes 2.5, 3 years to get. 2 years probably.
Well, I know, and it does send a little bit of message, you know, carry it down the can, like you said. I'd like to get it done earlier, and that, the other side of it is, I wanna make sure it's done right. You know, maybe they could, hopefully they could take care of the solar and get it done in 12, 14 months. I don't. Take 2 or 3 months to discover the business that we want to do it.
There's 2 seats on planning and zoning, right?
I think there is. The bylaws have 9, but I think there's only 7 on there now.
There's one
Well-
that you need to fill and one that's
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
well, actually,
Does that include Nathan though?
I don't know. You can look at that.
See, you started it. Started that yawning stuff.
Yeah.
That's contagious.
Well, we got two applications for the housing board now. That
2.
one come through today. I think we had one before, I think.
So we have Nathan Stratter.
I don't know how many we've had for the planning board, and 2 or 3.
Schneider left, right? Or
Mhm.
Claymore, Jacob Schneider.
He left.
Nathan Stratter left, and I think it was it, right? Jackie Mitchell, Levi Sarista, Clay Rolfe, Clarence Fry, and Michael Alvarez. Because we just put Clarence Fry and Nathan Stratter on. They were just appointed this year,
Mm-hmm. Reappointed.
reappointed.
So who took Antice's place on the planning board?
Jackie Mitchell, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, there's 2.
There's 2 open positions.
2 open positions.
Yeah, 'cause I think there's one that,
I need to remove him. So there's 1.
I think there was one last month, and then with Nathan stepped down. I think it's 2. I think we've got 3 or 4 ads.
Yeah.
And then we like one on the housing authority, is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Replace Skillman. Like,
Right, so have we got,
we think we've had 2 of them.
2 applied for that one.
okay,
I think there's 2.
okay.
And then there's like 4 or 5, I think.
4 or 5 for planning and zoning.
I still have them. If you
Okay,
guys wanna look at it.
I think we wait till Tom gets here,
Yeah.
get some more input.
Yeah.
Get a full panel
yeah,
here.
that would be good.
Be able to. He's gonna be here for 2 more years, so he's gonna input, have some input.
It'll be good just to have a full board meeting.
Yep.
Tom's got a lot of information, a lot of knowledge.
Well, that's just like on the construction part, everything, he's so knowledgeable on stuff like that, that That jail really is going up nice.
It is. You know, people said that there's gonna be 100 change orders and so on and so forth. You know, there's been some.
There's been some, but they were, that's just like the Sally Port, that was a good catch.
Yeah, well, and it should have been, it should have been caught prior to.
I know that, but my
Like
point is it
Chesapeake
was caught
after
before something,
It was too late to change.
too late to change.
Or would have been a big ticket item to change.
But on projects like that, you're always going to have a change order. I don't care if you're building a house or whatever, you're gonna,
You're gonna have change order. You know, one change order I got to thinking about 2 or 3 weeks after we done it. I don't know whether it was the last change order we did or the one before. But the business that bid on, they're doing a lot of work here. But they missed something that was on the design, but they missed it. And they put a change order in for, I don't know, 15 or 18,000. I don't remember now. To me, that change order should have never been allowed. That was their problem, they missed it.
Right, no.
The next one of them comes through, I'm gonna set tie on that.
I can't remember what that was, Tom.
I don't remember either, but
Was it on doors or windows or, no,
it
that
was
was,
something that was partially covered up or something, and they just didn't catch it. And I forget. We could ask Cole, he'd remember, but that's not our fault. That change order shouldn't have been allowed.
Should have had to eat it. They should have ate it.
Should have been their expense.
Yep.
I forget what it was. It wasn't a big one, but it seemed like it's 15 or 18 or 20.
but still, that's a lot of money.
But that's not, it wasn't. Yeah, there's gonna be more change orders, but I'd almost bet you they'll be kind of, I bet they'll be kind of minimum. But on that big of a project, a minimum change order would be 25.
I know they'll be glad to get it, dried in
Yeah.
and that'll take care of a lot.
They're gonna have it all in close when the old man winter gets here.
Yeah, and that's what, I think that's what their goal
And that's-
was, and they're running ahead of schedule now.
And
so-
they've had the opportunity to do that,
Yeah.
so. Old man winter still, it's really 3 months away, so.
Yeah.
Might have to put space heaters in there, but at least they could keep it warm.
Propane generators, that way you can run the propane inside.
That's right.
And have all your electricity right off of that.
That's right.
That's what they do up at Lancaster Event Center up in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, really?
They've got propane generators that runs the facility. Well, it blows the gas, the
Yeah.
exhaust into the big buildings and heats them too.
How's it not make it sick?
That's propane, doesn't hurt you none.
Yeah, it's a safe product.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's works slicker and
Yeah.
slick.
But what'd he? Why am I thinking you could run propane inside?
They run propane forklifts and everything in the warehouses. I mean, most of it's electric nowadays, but, you know, they used to be all propane.
Yeah.
You know.
Those little buddy heaters are propane.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking.
Yeah.
What I do.
Those little buddy heaters,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
are propane.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Yeah, but you think of gas and, I mean,
yeah. I guess that's what I was thinking of, regular gas. The kerosene one you can burn inside too, right?
Diesel, you run those big torpedo heaters off kerosene or diesel fuel or whatever inside. It's not gonna hurt you. No. Well, maybe it has. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. All those years working in the shop in the wintertime with a torpedo heater going, doesn't that make it heat? Maybe I messed up, so. Yeah, that's why I can't remember anything, I'm losing my eyesight. Ay, ay, ay. There he is.
Sorry.
Just still riding that country western song, waiting on Wade.
Well, trying to prepare something on the fly.
I've got to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
I'd have done that, it would have been available next week.
If I'd had to do it, it probably wouldn't have got done at all.
So,
I wanted to say that.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the way the previous moratorium was put in place that talked about a commercial solar farm, well, the regulations were put forth and the terminology is a little different, so it's the Commercial Solar Conversion System, CS, so that's referenced here. Then it talks about the Planning and Zoning Commission is in the process of addressing the need for a comprehensive plan, the statute cited. Comprehensive plan will likely include references to and potential recommendations to amendments in the zoning regs, which includes a plan to address renewable energy. Anticipated process to retain a consultant, complete a comprehensive plan, present it to the board. Anticipated 3 years. Board has also been provided proposed amendments to zoning regulations submitted by the Coffee County Planning Board and proposed resolution 386F, which included proposed recommendations specific to regulations of CSECSs. Members of the board, I'd say the entire board, it just says members of the board have requested additional time and the opportunity to investigate, study, view, and discuss existing CSECSs with commissioners, industries, and companies, and other members of the public that may have information specific to CSECs located within other Kansas communities to gain a better understanding of CSECSs before making a final decision regarding proposed resolution 386F. And then it says at the very end, combine the two, and I think that captures what you're looking for, but if it's not right, something needs to change. Fortunately, I can go change it now because I I was trying to put down what I thought I heard. And I just took the last one and made changes to it, so.
That's fine. I know I kind of muddled it up as I went along. My intention was not to do that, but.
Sometimes you gotta do stuff on the fly. You see anything, Jesse?
No,
It's probably not worded the best way, but trying to,
I think it covers what Steve and Dawn are wanting to do. So.
Yeah,
Motion to approve resolution number 2024-938, a resolution providing for a 3-year probation.
wait a minute. Should that be a moratorium?
it's the same thing.
Oh, okay, all right.
3-year prohibition of commercial solar conversion systems, also known as CSECS, in Coffee County, Kansas.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by McCurry,
Oh, second.
seconded by Meats. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay? Nay? Motion passes. There you are, gentlemen.
You want to sign this?
Nope. Don't vote for it, don't sign for it.
You're right.
We'll go get a job with the circus when they come to town next week. Oh, yeah. That way that song can stick in my head all the time. There wasn't anything on that about supermajority.
Do I?
There wasn't nothing in this about supermajority.
Which thing?
Override, disapprove, return to the planning board, revise, table. None of it states anything about supermajority.
Well, it doesn't say it there, but it says.
Oh. That,
Russ came ahead of time, so
that mule is dead.
we'll have an issue depending on what direction that goes.
Anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace. We got it. Because I'm not gonna give anybody a second chance. We will adjourn at 4:46 p.m.
We're off.